Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is The Real, episode 220. Yes, we made it to 220 of GG's The Mouthful podcast.
GG! Looks like we made it!
That voice, of course, coming back from the grave is Mr. David Santos, a.k.a. Dream Twister. What is up, sir?
What's from your grave?
Yes,
oh, my
yes.
God. Oh, my God, it's good. It's so good to be back. It's so good to be back, especially after witnessing that sad podcast that we had last time. Oh, my God,
Yes.
did that break my heart. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I was wondering, like all this week, I was hoping that we could get together in the middle of the week and just throw something together, you know.
just to supplement that
yes,
poor podcast. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's the saddest thing I've heard. But well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you, sir. I had to hold down the fort for everyone, and as I mentioned on it, I was like, I refuse to stop the signal, and that's something that, you know, as a group we pride ourselves on. So that's
yeah. It was a disaster. I mean, it was a disaster. Suddenly, Chaos couldn't make it because he was working, and my stupid ass couldn't make it because I started messing up with my computer and I broke it. and then I was like, well, shoot. I guess I can do the podcast on the phone, you know.
that was going to be an option at one point. That was funny, too.
I was not, trust me, I would have been like, you would have been like, GG's the Mouthful podcast. I would have been like, yeah, GG, whatever. I was not feeling it, man. I was so angry. Oh my God.
Oh my God. But you're back,
though.
sir, and that
Thank
is
you.
all that matters. That's all that matters. That voice, of course, is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. His PC rose from the grave, and he is with us today.
My PC has risen. We're still not complete, though. We're not.
We're still
Yeah. We're still missing.
Only 2/3 of the way to a complete podcast. Mr. Chaos Reaper, unfortunately, is not able to join us this week. But fear not, he's not gone forever. He will, of course, be back in future podcasts. Sir, real quick, since it's been 2 weeks since we've spoken together on a podcast, how have things been overall as far as your I don't know. This pandemic. This crazy pandemic that we're in that's not letting up.
No. Aside from the PC apocalypse, everything else has been, has been fine. As we live our lives as best as we can, right? We find entertainment, and trust me, I was very entertained during this past 2 weeks. I would say, but no, hanging in there as we can. We don't do anything crazy, going out, and when we do, we are making sure that we follow the rules. We're always wearing our mask, as everybody should be, and trying not to be outside exposing ourselves too much.
I find myself more and more frustrated. I don't even want to go online anymore. At some point, I was really just kind of weighing, like, you know what? The internet doesn't need me. I'm not anybody. I can escape forever.
That's a strength. Oh God, that's a strength of. That's a willpower that I will never have. I need the internet is my lifeblood. See, I take the good and the bad, but I need to take it. If the internet stops, I'm done. I'm done. I operate on internets.
I gotta tell you, man. I don't know, man. It's just been a lot of left and right, and literally, and it's just, I don't know, man. I've been getting like, and I don't, and you know me, I'm not one to comment on certain things. I'm not one to throw my hat into a ring when it comes to discussions of, I don't know, wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, stuff like that. But at some point, I was just like, I cannot not say nothing here. I have to fucking put something out because I just don't understand what the big deal is. It's just like a freaking mask, people. Stop being asinine.
Listen, they are. You're realizing. No, I know you knew this from before, but it's different knowing something than witnessing. From witnessing something, and
yeah.
There's just a lot of stupid people in this country. There's just a lot of stupid people, and unfortunately, and now with the internet, it's easy to be able to see that. That's when you realize, the human race. I think it's time for it's long overdue that we're long overdue for a good alien invasion. Something that right.
Some sort of. EVE, what is it? Extinction level event. That's what we need. Or ELE. That's what it is.
Oh, speaking of, actually, we'll get there when we get there. No, man, no. On every other part, it's been okay. Like I see, I'm gonna go ahead and take the second to nerd out just to get it out of the system because. I'm very excited. I basically broke my computer so that I had an excuse to buy a new one.
That's an age-old trick, my friend.
I was. Well, here's the thing. Here's where it gets interesting. I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. Somehow it was happening at a subconscious level. And something told me that you should stick this card into that hole and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? But you break your computer, so what? Throw money at it. Get something else. It'll be a good excuse to upgrade. So that's what I ended up doing. I didn't upgrade that much. I was actually running an Intel Core i7 8700X, which is a processor from like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It wasn't too old of a generation, because evidently there's a new generation every year now when it comes to processors. But I've heard a lot of good things about a lot of great vibe about the Ryzen CPUs and how many more cores you have, and the price difference between an Intel and an AMD processor was substantial for the amount of power that you end up getting. So I made the jump. My computer has risen because I have a Ryzen CPU. Get it? See what I did there? That was terrible. Kill me.
As long as you recognize that, that's fine.
Thank you. I got myself AMD Ryzen 3900X, which is very nice. I think it's 12 core, 24 thread processor. Imagine it's like having 24 little processors working in it, and of course for games I'm only using like 3 of them, but who cares, because it still sounds awesome. And I didn't upgrade anything else. I mean, yes, the motherboard, because of course I had to get a motherboard capable of running the AMD chip, because it wouldn't be compatible with my Intel one. So I upgraded that and bought some RAM obviously as well, because I was gonna need it. But like everything else is the same graphics card that I had, same chassis. So you look at my computer, it looks exactly the same, except that it has a different heart now beating, and that is the AMD processor, which runs really hot too.
It runs really hot.
It's super stable as far as I've been throwing all sorts of benchmark. I'm not overclocking it yet, mostly because I still don't know how to overclock AMD CPUs. But for a processor that I'm cooling with an AIO with water, not like one of those radiators that you buy that are pre-done. That all you got to do is just install it on your computer, and you put you put the copper plate to your CPU. One of those that are pre-done.
They call them the XL cooling system.
The accelerators, exactly. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Very familiar with those. Very familiar with
those. That's water, but it's not like when people refer to water cool, which is people building those radiators. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know what's inside. It's liquid. It's a liquid. Yeah, anyway, I still think it warms the room enough, Either that, or I've been running, stability tests, which obviously put a strain on the cores, to where it heats it up. Right now, this room is warm. Right now, this room is very warm. I have two fans on. Well, a fan and an air purifier. I have the AC on. And I use it like a fan.
And we're purifying the air.
We're purifying the air. And it's still hot as balls in here.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, and you guys might be wondering, because I like to fantasize that you are, what did I do with my Intel CPU? So that one right now has been repurposed. Turns out I did buy a new case, but I didn't buy it for my daily computer. I bought it to turn it into a server. So I bought this big ass case, which almost looks like a college fridge, and right now I have that running like a server backup, where I could do virtual machines on it, in other words, I can run several operating systems at once if I wanted. Yeah, because it's basically doing just that, virtual machines. I can run my smart home equipment if I learn how to do that. The surveillance and all stuff like that. Anyway, it's a new toy to play with, basically. I'm very excited because I finally got it running. That was actually one of the biggest problems that I had this week with. I bought a card for it. It didn't work. I turned it back to Amazon, bought a different one. Didn't work. I thought it was broken, so I sent for replacement to Amazon. They sent me a new one. It didn't work. I bought another one, and that one worked. So now I have 3 boxes that I need to return to Amazon, this weekend. Otherwise, this is gonna be too much on my card. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I think let's put it this way: I break my computer, I'm gonna fucking overcompensate because I'm not gonna be down. Yeah. And it's no materials wasted. It's like everything is there. It's working. My old computer is working.
Well, that's good. I mean, I was just glad that it wasn't something more permanent, because that would have been very sad.
It was so stupid. At the end of it, this is what happened for me. Not being patient enough to troubleshoot properly, which is lovely when you're working, technology and computers and stuff like that. It was a bad stick of RAM. That's all it was. But the behavior of the crashes and the fact that it wasn't even coming on led me to believe that it was something more serious. By the time that I realized what it was, I already had all this equipment coming in the mail to UPS, and I was like trying to justify not canceling it. It's like I can cancel the order, and they're probably gonna just charge me shipping, and I don't want to pay shipping. I'll show them. I'll keep everything. Ha ha! Newegg, I got you. So,
you are going to keep my money whether you like it or not.
That's right. That's right. Who do you think I am?
I know.
Some sort of scrub?
That's hilarious.
Oh man, but yeah, that was my
nice.
week.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, first off, before we start the show, I would like you first to go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, although I don't feel that there's many for this week, but and then we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the Mouthful. Yes.
That's right. Yes, we're bringing it.
Yes.
So I got something that I've been doing. I watched Scott Pilgrim, rewatched it again. I mean, there you go. Back to
you. So that's our hot topic, and obviously we're going to kind of pull the movie apart and talk about our favorites moments and our not so favorite moments and a little bit of everything, and then really kind of go, maybe a little bit into how it stands up today versus when it first came out. So, so sir, sounds like you haven't really been doing anything. Have you played anything at all?
At least let me get it out of the way, because we all know that we have the main event, the game that was released very recently and that you have been playing, and we're gonna let you handle that one because I haven't played it at all. But
really, okay, I would have thought you had it. Okay,
I've been busy. That's why. I mean, I want to play it though.
You've been making patches on your.
I've been making patches, exactly. Exactly. Little by little, putting it together. This Frankenstein, two Frankensteins. So I'm going to start with. Well, actually, with what I've been playing, because I have actually been playing something, believe it or not.
Great.
And more shocking will be what it is. Vis-a-vis the following.
And it's drumroll.
I have been playing Death Stranding.
Wow. All right. Fair enough.
Yes, sir.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because it's like a Kojima game. I don't know if you know.
I mean, yes, and I recall actually, in the end, really enjoying it way more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. But I don't recall the same feeling from you. So that's kind of why I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, why go back down that road again?
Let's be clear. I did not hate the game. This is still, for all intended purposes, my favorite worst game of all time. My favorite worst game of all. I'm not saying the game is the worst game of all time, because it's not. It's totally not. This game is something special. I can't get myself to say it. This game is good.
It is good.
It is good. Yeah, it is good. It shouldn't be, but it feels dirty to say it, because someone might play it and then come back to us and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's
no. I think we said that in our review, where it's hard to recommend. It's good, but it's hard to recommend because it's just, you don't know if it's gonna, everybody's gonna feel the same way. So I hear you.
Yeah, remember that time that you're trying to convince me that It Follows was a good movie?
Yes, but that is a good movie. That's just poor taste on your part.
I'm just fucking with you. Even though I still stand that movie was god awful, but that's okay.
Fine, fair enough.
There are worse movies, of course. There's Lost in Translation. Worst movie of all time, of the century, of the ever. So no, but I obviously, there has to be some sort of catalyst to make me do this, right? It's not gonna. Yeah. I'm not gonna just come out of the blue and be like, you know what? I haven't played in a while. A game that I just played in November of last year and had a moment with it. No, so Death Stranding, for those who don't know, recently was released on PC, and I saw it. Green Man Gaming, the website that sells PC games, had a decent deal on it. I was like, and I had the new computer, so I was like, sure, why not? Let's just try. Let's just benchmark it. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So this is more of a benchmark test than it really was playing a game, wasn't
it? Well, that's what I tried to convince myself. But damn game got me hooked again, and now I'm playing.
It is. There is something special about that game where it's I don't know what it is. It's like I just need to deliver these packages, and yes. I'm going to find out how to put those random packages that I found out in the wilderness. I'm going to figure out how to deliver those too. I don't know. I don't know something weird
I'm going to Tetris my packages on my back, and I'm going to cross that river in some way. I'm going to use Metal Gear level feet and all this gear to carry these packages by hand, because evidently, there's not enough technology to make, I don't know, flying units, a flying carrot thing, or a flying drone, for crying out loud. Amazon is doing that right now, but in the future, where we have all the craziness that the craziness that is on that game.
Was it ever explained? No. I feel like there was something random that it mentioned that it couldn't.
It's probably the time fall. It's probably the rain. Yeah, it's probably I'm sure. There's a reason why.
Because the rain makes the metal rust and everything, and if it's flying, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Time fall solves everything.
Yeah. Except your cape that you're wearing, for some reason, that's impervious to it. Because game.
It's timefall resistant. I mean, if it's 100% timefall resistant, then
he resists the test of time. So, and the wetness of time also. So imagine,
perfect sense.
You guys don't understand what we're talking about. You obviously haven't played this game, and you need to. You need to experience it at one point in your lifetime. You need to experience it, because you probably be spooked by how it will grab you. Mm-hmm. And how many times you're going to say, what the hell am I playing? And not just that, why am I still playing this?
Why am I still wanting to continue? Yeah.
Why? Exactly.
Freaking Kojima, man. He's a mad scientist, let me tell you.
I'm telling you, I am, like, there were already people, the rumors that he was teasing supposedly Death Stranding 2. And I was like, yes, tell me more. And then I had to stop myself, like, no, wait, why? Why do I want more of this? But I do. I need to see it through. And you know what? It pays off. A second playthrough pays off in the sense that I am, just like you said, when you rewatch a movie and you rewatch it again and you keep discovering these little details that make sense now, that when they were presented to you they look like novelty, or maybe you didn't even notice, but on the context of everything you realize, like, okay, so that's what it meant by he can't, he is a whatever, a repatriate, he is a whatever, but he can sense
a replicant,
the BTs. Yeah, the replicants, sure. He can sense the BT. He cannot see them, and then he can just see them when he's quiet. When he's quiet, or when he stops moving, with the help of the baby,
BB,
and of BB, and how. Because he has dooms. That's what it is. He has dooms. And
that's what it is.
Because he has dooms, and when you connect a BB unit to someone that has dooms, they create a feedback loop, and that's why he can see into BB's memories. And the more I hear myself talking about this, the more
it makes perfect sense. Come on now.
The people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you?"
Yeah.
What are you, dude? If you think that doesn't make sense, that's not even the tip of that iceberg, Oh man, it gets exponentially worse. Anyway, so what can I say about Death Stranding on PC? Well, it is a very good port. I actually got to commend them first of all, it was kind of weird seeing when it comes out. The game's published by 505 Games,
Mm-hmm.
but when the game starts, it still says, Sony Computer Entertainment, America presents, that typical Sony thing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Where
they still put money into the production of it, so
oh,
they still deserve the credit.
for sure, for sure. But it's kind of weird. I mean, it's kind of weird seeing that on a PC game because you don't until very recent. You don't expect those Sony exclusive to be out there, and now we have Horizon Zero Dawn and coming and Death Stranding coming in, and let me tell you, they did a very good job with the PC
I'm pretty sure more are coming too.
Oh yeah, for no doubt. I mean, the thing got me wondering if I should start waiting a little bit for those games that that I want to play, but I don't necessarily need to jump on it day one. But I want to experience. Maybe wait. Who knows? All I can say is that the port's really good. It has obviously keyboard mouse support. Even though I am playing it with the gamepad, and it supports ultra widescreen, except that it is about this is gonna sound ridiculous, but for some reason I don't know why they support ultra widescreen, except for about 40 pixels away from the actual edge of the screen on both sides, and I would have never noticed that if it wasn't for Digital Foundry, which sometimes it doesn't pay watching those videos. I mean, Digital Foundry guys from Eurogamer, actually they are their own thing now. Amazing work they do, telling you about performance of games if you want to know how it runs and the resolution and all that. If you want so pixel counting breakdown of your favorite games, you go watch those guys on YouTube, Digital Foundry. So, but I'm afraid that the only reason I'm noticing the tiny sliver of black bars on the corners is because I heard it from
pixels,
the TV. About 40 pixels left and right.
And this is what is suddenly going to be like
ultra widescreen.
Clearly, they screwed up this port because it's missing 80 pixels total.
It's not true 21 by 9. It is 20 point.
Wow.
20.2.
Sir, I love you to death, man. 80. Sometimes this PC stuff is a little bit like out there.
It's ridiculous. I know. It's sort of overkill. I mean, considering that the game runs ultra smooth as butter, the draw distances are amazing. When you walk when you walk in and the music starts, how that game was very good
swells.
Having those moments. Yes, yeah. It still gives you chills. Like you don't this time you expect it because you played it before, but it's still like the first time. It still feels like, oh man, this is amazing. You still have to sit through the ridiculous cutscenes, which on the second playthrough is when I realized that you can actually pause them. I never dared to pause a cutscene because I'm always afraid that it's just gonna automatically skip them. Yeah, some bad games do that.
Yeah, they've pretty much done away with that. I don't have that fear. I had the same fear before, but I don't have that fear anymore. Yeah, most games have most developers have figured out. Okay, people have to use the bathroom sometimes. Let's let them pause the cutscene real quick. So.
Especially when it gives you when it wants to give you like 30 minutes of cutscenes.
Thank you.
Not that this one does terribly with that, but it does every now and then gives you cutscenes where you're like, okay, and then you try to skip, and then you skip into another cutscene, like at the other part of the cutscene. You're like, my God, this is not skipping. This is TiVo,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, Death Stranding. Really good on PC. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't. And actually, in general, like PS4. I bet that game is a decent price right now. And
yeah. And I think at a decent price, it's definitely worth experimenting.
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you're tired of the same old. Who knows? This might surprise you. Just don't. I would, and this is the only qualifier that I will put on, regardless, and that is, forget about the story. Don't expect a masterpiece story or anything like that. Yes, he has his moment, but there is just there's way too much nonsense on it for the good parts to shine through. Even when you get to the ending and you're satisfied of the ending, you're still like, yeah, but I had to sit myself to some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Some of them was hilarious. Some of it's kind of hilarious, but for the most part, it's kind of really stupid. Yeah. So that's all. The only thing that I've played. I did watch a movie. Well.
Oh.
With Scott Pilgrim, I guess we can say a couple, but we're gonna leave that for the hot topic, obviously. I watched the movie Fury.
Oh, okay. With Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf. Yeah.
Yes. Have you watched this movie?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. Good. Because you could you're better at explaining the plots and stuff like that. But especially 'cause I'm not a rewatcher, so I've only watched it that one time, and I remember liking it, but not thinking much of it, except I realized that a movie sticks, and I really enjoyed it when I'm thinking about it like the next day, and maybe the day after. And this was a movie that even though I wouldn't say like it has any particular, how can I say, it's not that it doesn't have memorable moments. It have memorable moments. It's just other movies have done better with that. But it is something that sticks with you. It's something that you enjoyed, and I thought it was great. Seeing Brad Pitt on this World War II setting. It basically, he is part of a tank crew fighting Nazi Germany, and there is it's not so much about the missions or the actions that they take. It's more about the interaction between the characters. I think that I actually enjoyed, especially, and I'm not good with names or names of actors, so I'm just there's a younger guy that joins in that kind of a replacement that joins that tank squad. And I mean, you could see the fear in his eyes, because he was an office clerk basically before he got recruited, or not recruited. What's the word when you get
drafted?
Yeah, pretty much you got drafted. He was a pencil pusher, in the military, and now he suddenly he has to be a part of this squad and be on the pretty much on the front line.
He's the epitome of what you would call the audience surrogate, right? Because he is sort of the blank slate, really out of his whatever, but he's the one we relate to as you watch the film, because he's like, well, we don't know the other characters; they all know themselves, and he's getting to know them the way we are. A lot of films do that. Yeah, so he's a perfect audience surrogate in that film. And
see, I knew that you have a better way of. You're the movie buff. You're the expert when it comes to that. You can explain like the meaning of the colors used on the cinematography and all of that. I can just say, yeah, the movie was pretty cool. I guess Brad Pitt awesome, was man. Cool, but yeah, no, but you're absolutely right. This is the guy where, like on your typical macho action game, you would have played as Brad Pitt's character. On a really good story-driven game, and, with action, you would be playing as this guy. You'll be behind the eyes of this guy, and like I said, completely unprepared for it. Man, this movie was this one I will highly recommend giving it a watch
for sure. I've actually watched it multiple times, and each time I feel like it's it shines a little bit more light. But I think what I really enjoy, first off, as crazy as World War II was, and as noble as the reason why we entered, to obviously eliminate what you can pretty much call pure evil at this point.
It's the axis of evil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as much as I get all that, there is a certain level of respect that I have for those who fought in that war, because a lot of them did it, because that's just what they needed to do, and they went, they fought, they a lot of them died, but the ones who went home went back to regular lives, working in a factory or something like that. And I'm like, these are real life
not
heroes.
Well.
For sure.
Yeah, not well. That was a hefty price to pay for the horrors that you see, which this movie does a pretty good idea of making you experience that. It's some sort of graphic ways, I would even say. In some occasions.
It doesn't pull punches. No. I like the fact that you see the characters, even though for the majority of the characters are obviously white, but you do have your Spanish character, but you see them, even the ones who are not of ethnicity or something like that, but they still come from different backgrounds. You can see that they're not, but they're so familiar with each other that they just know how each other works, and it becomes this tight knit unit. And when they are in the midst of action and you see them, my favorite and the part that gives me the goosebumps every time I see it is when they're in that battle, they're loading up the thing, and you hear Shia LaBeouf yell, "On way!" and it just shoots off, and I'm like, it just gives me like goosebumps for real. It's like, man, it's just like so. And
they're an instrument at that point. They're a machine. They are working together.
Correct. Exactly. And I think that's so awesome. And then let me tell you, I've said this before, I've never experienced tank battles the way this presents it. Just the thought of it, you go, oh, that's got to be kind of boring. Two tanks shooting at each other from the other end. No, it can really get a little bit intense. Yeah, and they do a good job. The creators do a good job,
especially considering the technological advantage that Germany had.
Of Germany, absolutely.
Their tanks,
yeah, for sure. That's definitely a great. I'm glad you saw it. That was your first time?
Yeah. I watched it, and it was because my wife actually watched Scott Pilgrim with me. So I told her, honey, I owe you a movie, whatever you want to watch.
Whatever you want to watch.
It's funny because
to her credit, she gave you a good one, though, didn't she?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I couldn't be more happy that she did. And I was busy. I was with my tinkering over here, trying to get things to run. And my wife mentions that. And I'm, oh, you want to watch a movie? And I'm like, oh, no, honey. Yeah, she can see the mess in the office, so she understands. And then she leaves, and I have one of those moments, one of those commercial moments where you're like, you know what? I'm sorry, honey. Yes, let's go ahead and watch it. Let's watch a movie. I can stop what I'm doing, and watch your movie because I know you want to watch it. And I put you through Scott Pilgrim, and you survived it.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Well, I'm glad, sir. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's a very good movie. It's not. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I can easily give it a 9. You know what I mean? Because it's just really
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I can easily give it a 9. I've seen it so often. I think at some point I just like, you know what? Like I would probably say if you would have asked me the very first time, like it's an 8, maybe 8.5 or something like that.
That's what I feel. Well, I probably need to watch it then again and see if my
maybe
who knows who knows, because it was between that and what's the other movie that it was on the movie theaters right before the pandemic.
1917.
Yes.
Oh,
it was between
another one.
That's another one, right? Which did I messed up on my choice or did I pick right?
They're two different films.
I couldn't have I couldn't have lost. Okay.
No, you couldn't have lost. If I'd have to say maybe 1917 is a better film overall, because it's just very unique in what it does, and I don't know. It's not the same. It's the same war, but it's not the same. It's just different. It's just two different things. I think one is way more of a something that really actually no. They both would probably do the same, but in different ways. One is definitely more gritty. I'll give Fury being a little bit more gritty, a little bit more gruesome in some parts. Here, 1917 is probably not that, even though it does have its its occasional warlike moment. But it is. It's both you regardless you would have been fine either or. So
I'm not and I always feel bad for this, but I'm not a terribly huge fan of war movies. Like I can watch them, but because I don't know if it's the fact that I kind of know how it ends, even though it has nothing to do with the actual ending of the movie. I just know how the war ended. If it's based on a real war. But I don't know. For example, I've never seen Platoon. And that shouldn't surprise anybody. That shouldn't surprise anybody because there's a ton. I have a lot of glaring holes in my movie watching experience, and I know that one of these days, these guys are just gonna get me from my house, capture me, and they're just gonna sit me in front of a TV, and they're gonna play all the Rockies, all the Indiana Jones. They're gonna throw Platoon in there. Not that I've seen it. I watch Rambo and Commando. I can give you that. I'll give you those. I watched those.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
No, but in reality, Saving Private Ryan also someone's gonna throw in there. So when my wife picked that, I wasn't immediately enthusiastic because I knew it was not. This is not gonna be the fun. I mean, not the war is fun, but the movie itself. You're gonna have a fun war movie tale. That Tarantino movie. What's it called? You guys talked to me.
Glorious Bastards, yeah.
Glorious Bastards, exactly. That movie. I mean, that was about the war, but that movie was ridiculous. It was fun, and it was really great.
There was a little catharsis in there. That's why, because it's you get to see a lot of people get eliminated in a way that did not happen in real life. So it's like,
let me tell you, that movie had an ending.
Yeah, for sure it did.
That movie cemented its ending. No, it was but when I watch him, I have a greater appreciation. Especially when I'm kind of fascinated by the history of everything that happened with World War II in particular. I like the history, learning about it. I didn't like what happened, but yeah. I can say
I can say that I'm kind of the same way. It's funny because you mentioned Platoon, and when I think of what's the other one, Full Metal Jacket. And,
Full Metal Jacket, yeah.
You have a lot of these that are, and I think the separation I have between them, because I would easily watch a movie of World War I or World War II versus wars after that, and I feel for whatever reason in my head I feel like there was the Greatest Generation, and they were literally snuffing out evil, and there's this thing in the back of my head where I'm like, there's no doubt that what was happening here was for good. As you get into these more recent wars, you start to, now you have some doubt. Now you're like, well,
now it's like,
know.
Wait, who's the bad guy?
Who
really?
was the bad guy? Yeah, exactly. So at that point, it really becomes different. Now, that's why I tend to hesitate to watch some of those, because particularly the Vietnam War, because it was a extremely gruesome war. I think it was one of the last really, really gruesome wars before now, where a lot of wars fought on are still can be gruesome, for the record, but it's fought with less people, generally with more airstrikes and stuff like it's a little bit more detached. You have drones and all. There's
a little bit more electronic warfare than being not to take away in any way whatsoever of the people that have war on those. Obviously, that will mess people up. Obviously, we're not taking anything away. We're just talking about making it in comparison to
the older ones.
To the older
so
wars,
when I have the same feeling when I'm like, oh, this is that war. Okay, I kind of have to be mentally ready to watch that. By the way, to correct myself, I realized I said this before, that 1917 was the same war. No, 1917 is actually World War One.
World War One. That's what I thought.
Yeah, my bad. I realized I was like, why did I say that? I'm gonna make sure I correct myself before we move on. So I wanted to throw that out there. 1917, clearly the year is like enough to say, wait, that's not the same war. So, but no, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And yes, there's some movies that can obviously, like Rambo. All the Rambos are, those are, or at least Rambo 3, right? Because Rambo 3 really had more of a war. Oh, well, Rambo 2 did too, but that was more of a skirmish. But anyway, the point is that, those kind of movies are like, oh, that's just a lot of, running, gunning, and it's a lot of fun, but it's not really gritty. Like Platoon and the other ones that are like almost shocking, you know what I mean, in some of its cerebral images. So I hear you. I'm kind of the same way. So
anyway, that has been my weekend, my 2 weeks.
Nice.
I should say.
As I mentioned last week in my one-man show, I was actually... no, it's all right. I'm not saying that to rub anything.
I heard it. You know what? I was listening to it as I was putting stuff together and making... and it cheered me up a little bit. I was like, you know what? Things could be worse. I could be recording a podcast on my own. Just like that. So I shouldn't be bitching and complaining.
As crazy as this fool by himself.
There are people that have it bad, man. Look at the bad dog. I mean, the poor guy's like, oh my God, like an abandoned puppy. He's making the best of it for himself.
That's hilarious.
Talking to himself.
Basically talking to myself. Sitting in this room, talking to myself is exactly what I was doing.
Honestly, out of joking aside, I think you did a fantastic job. It was very entertaining.
So. Oh, well, I appreciate it.
I almost heard it to the end. So that should tell you how good it was.
That says something, right? There's something to be said about finishing the podcast. Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, so I started the week still playing Last of Us 2, believe it or not. I was doing my second run, and believe it or not, I would have continued. At no point did I... Well, that's not true. There was one point I was like... Because I already know the story. And there is a particular point somewhere towards the...
Hey, we don't need to know. We don't need to know. Someplace.
I'm not going to say what it is.
In the game.
This is somewhere like it's somewhere in the second half of the game where I know I'm just like, oh, I know this is going to happen. So... Do I really want to go through all that? No, I probably don't want to. You know what I mean? So I had my doubts, but I was really just going to continue. It's like, fuck it, I'm enjoying this. And I've already adjusted certain things on the difficulty to just kind of make it, all right, I'm just kind of, breezing through it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I had to make space, believe it or not, because another game's coming out, and freaking Last of Us 2 is like 100 gigs. So I'm just like, I need to make a little room here. So obviously, if you have not already known, if my posts have not already alerted you, I did get and started playing Ghost of Tsushima, as Mr. Santos likes to call it. No, Ghost of Tsushima.
What is that? Tell me more.
So let me tell you. It is so. First off, let me get the obvious stuff out of the way. It is weird coming off of... Huh?
No, I thought you were gonna go. Let me tell you this about it. It sucks.
It's no good.
0 out of
it's
10.
Garbage.
It's no good. It's garbage.
No, coming off of The Last of Us 2, which technically speaking, when we think of it on a technical level, is really, really good. Like really immaculate with the level of detail and the little, every little thing has been accounted for, and they've had an animation for it. To the point, Last of Us 2, yeah. Okay. To the point even you going, you probably don't even need this, but it's so cool that they have it, right? And then I come to this, and this is, in essence, an open world game.
Thank God you finished that sentence. I didn't want to play an open ass. I was imagining like a goatsy kind of shit. Like, no.
Yeah. It's no, it has a lot of your normal open world stuff. That said, there's a little bit of comparison. I feel like as a fan of The Witcher, I feel like I may be unfairly taking it and relating it to it, but there's actually a lot of similarities to The Witcher 3 and this game, and in a lot of good ways. You have, I've gone on a few side quests. First of all, I'm about maybe 6 to 7 hours in. I stayed up till 4:00 in the morning playing this.
I knew you were. I was gonna I was gonna text you, and I was like, no, let him play.
I wouldn't.
He's not gonna answer.
I'm not even looking at my phone, sir. I wouldn't.
I know. I'll be like, oh shit, maybe he's sleeping now. He's mad because I woke him up, and no, you're just chilling playing.
4:00 in the morning. At 4:00, I had to say, okay, I need to stop. I need to go to bed. And then, of course, I got up and I had to do some work real quick. And then at some point, I was like, all right, I'm done with my work. I'm going to go jump back into this game. And without missing a beat, I literally walked from my computer here to sit in the couch, turn on the thing. My wife is out there because she works at home, and she has her whole thing set up in the living room. I have my headset on. I'm not even paying attention. She's I'm just playing the game.
Yeah, you are.
So there is there's a lot of similarities, and they're good, right? You have, so far, I can only say 6 hours in. So far, I've gone on probably about 3 or 4 side quests that have all been very different, that have all have its own little twist to it, which is great. I'm just like, oh, this is okay. So this is very similar in the sense that they really thought out. Again, 6 hours in, right? Because if it starts repeating after this, I don't know. I'm only talking about the first 6 hours. I haven't gone through any ridiculous fetch quests. There is stuff to collect, but it's nothing like, hey, it's nothing stupid. You know what I mean? It's very. Yeah. If anybody played The Witcher 3, you realize you have armor sets that you can obtain and get created for you. Very similar to that here. While you had the Witcher schools, here you just have different, samurai armor sets. You can either complete a quest and obtain it, or look for the particular materials and make it different ammo. When you do certain missions, it requires you to track people down. You can track them using tracks, or you can track them using blood splatter. Again, very similar to The Witcher. The difference, of course, you don't have Witcher vision, so you're really just looking at the environment.
Witcher vision coming to cable near you.
I can't remember the name of the stupid thing, but yeah, I will call it Witcher vision for now. You have, so there's a lot of little things like that, and of course, the story overall is so far interesting. Nothing has not blown me away, anything like that. Obviously, the story takes place when the Mongols come to Japan and invade Japan. And they do it in a very interesting way, and I won't say what that is. You just play the game to get to that, but it's very believable. The combat is actually really, really interesting. A little easy, maybe, but really interesting. I haven't had any issues with,
based on true battles.
What do you mean?
Or like not? Well, is it based on history?
Real events?
Or are there?
Oh, yeah. The invasion of the Mongols is a real thing. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted. I was just wondering if suddenly we were gonna be battling a giant enemy crab or something.
No, no enemy crabs just yet. But they're the actual invasion of the Mongols is a thing that happened. This particular story is not true. They've gone on record saying that this is not not based on anything real, but it is based on real events that happened.
That's why they want you to believe.
Yeah, sure, possibly, maybe, I don't know. But the combat is really, really good. You actually get to unlock certain stances, and I didn't know that at first. So you kind of just start off with a one stance, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then obviously enemy types respond differently to different enemy stances. You have certain weapons that you can get. So it's just, there's a lot to it, especially when it comes to the battle. The worst part of the battle,
loot.
Yeah, not loot in the sense of loot. No, actually, I would say no, it's definitely not RNG. Okay. But it is definitely, it's very rich. Think Witcher. Whenever you killed someone or killed a group of bandits, you can kind of pickpocket a few of them for change or stuff like that. Gotcha. What you don't get is weapons. For whatever reason, you never collect their weapons, but you do collect material and stuff like that. Another good thing that it does that Witcher didn't do, which I wish Witcher did, which was not yeah, the weapon deterioration. It doesn't have that. So I'm like, oh, thank God.
Good. Yeah,
of everything you're copying, at least don't copy that. And so, yeah.
And I'm sorry. Oh, no, go ahead. I just didn't want you to forget. You were going to say something about the combat. But in particular, something...
Oh, for you particularly, you're probably not going to care. Well, I don't think you need it. It's not like Sekiro in the sense that you need to parry. But there is parrying. But then again, there was also parrying in Witcher 3. And if you didn't use it,
I don't mind. It's like, exactly, as long as it's not punishing...
No, it's not like parry, Sekiro where... Sekiro, you need to learn how to parry. There's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you do not learn how to parry, you're not going to make it far in that game. And here, you don't need to parry. Although, parrying is a good thing. It does you have your energy bar, your life bar, and you have these little markers that when you do something, when you do a particular move in battle, it'll fill up that marker. And those markers you can use to just kind of quickly do a quick heal for yourself. And if you don't, you can do it without parrying. You can do other stuff, like you do a quick assassination or something like that, then that'll give it to you as well. For the record, I don't know. I don't think this is a spoiler, but I'll just keep it light and say at this point in time, I have not done anything ghost-like. You know what I mean? I've been just like a regular samurai. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's part of the story. I don't know if I'm missing something. Just not doing
silly rabbit. Right. You're just taking it too literal. You heard Ghost of Tsushima, you thought you were gonna become a ghost.
Maybe.
Or maybe you have to die, and that's what sets it up. Because it makes sense. Hello. Maybe you haven't died on the game. That's why you haven't. Ghosted.
Well, I'm not going to purposely die. That's for sure. Well, first off, I have.
If you want to become a ghost, hello.
I have technically died in the game, and that's just early on, just trying to get the handle of it. When you take on a group of people, sure, We'll call it sucking. When you take on groups of enemies, it's not. It's one of those things that you really kind of need to back away and get yourself stuff in between you. Because sometimes there's archers, and archers are going to shoot arrows at you while you're fighting someone. So it's better to not, it's better to keep a distance between them. So like in the tiny little village, I'm running around, having them come towards me so that I can 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 people. But if you have 5-6 people, you don't want to do that. You really want to separate yourself, which is normal. That's exactly what the fuck you would want to do in a real fight anyway. So. On a real battle like this, but visually, unbelievably stunning. I did start playing the game, and as exactly as I was going to do, I was going to play this. It's not Samurai Cinema. They actually updated the name to Kurosawa mode, which is a dedication to Akira Kurosawa, which is a famous Japanese director who directed a lot of samurai films. It's in black and white. It is stunning black and white. I can't believe how fucking awesome this actually looks. I'm like, and then at some point, it's funny.
It looks like high def. That was the part that threw me off a little bit. Yeah, I saw your pictures and I was like, these pictures are amazing, but this doesn't look like the old movies at all. This looks like high def 4K black and white.
I was like, I can't. And the funny thing is, what you can't get in the picture is that there's graininess as you're playing the game. There's like that film grain that sometimes happens. Yes. It's not like really in your face. It's a little bit. And it's just like, but it flows. That one image that you see where he's just kind of staring into the forest. Just picture that with flowing the leaves and everything flowing. It's just like, this is too freaking pretty. You know what I mean? It's like unbelievable. And there was a couple times that I turned off just let me go see what the color is. I gotta, and it was like, yeah, this is cool. But no, I'm going back to black and white. You know what I mean? So
you surprised me because I thought I was betting that at some point you're gonna be like, okay, I'm done with the black and white. Let me just bring some color here.
Well, so funny you should say that, sir. Because
I won the bet that I made with myself.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I realize is the black and white of mode is very cool, but when you're like looking around for stuff, it's difficult to pinpoint what is what when everything is black and white. And it's just like I was following a bird and I lost the bird in the trees. I was like, I can't see the bird. I can hear it, but I can't see it. And so I was like, okay, I really need to go back to go. So I've actually
Did you apologize to Mr. Kurosawa?
Well, no, because the whole deal is like if I have a feeling that if I go onto a mission that the way the mission structures are set up, it's almost like you start a particular mission of some sort and it has a title screen moment. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
I love that.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I can switch on Kurosawa mode when I want to take on a mission. When I'm just doing regular stuff, I'll be in color, in regular color. But no. That said,
pretty cool.
When I did switch on the color and I played more extensively into it, yes, it is an amazingly gorgeous game. It is.
Oh, damn it! Why you have to say that?
It's the truth, dude. It is.
You're making me want to pull the trigger and I can't. I already spent too much money on it.
I'm sorry. I just
freaking PC needs to go down and put thoughts in my head. Bad thoughts in my head.
Bad thoughts indeed.
Bad PC.
It is. I cannot deny, sir. It is it's a beautiful game, both black and white and in color. It is just amazing. The combat is a lot of fun. The one thing I will mention, the lip syncing is off, and I think it's off because I'm doing it in Japanese. So
I think it's on purpose. Oh, wait, you're playing in Japanese?
I'm playing in Japanese, and I think that the lip syncing is in the English. It's synced to an English track as opposed to the Japanese.
So you're doing the opposite.
The opposite, yeah. I'm watching it as a Japanese person watching a Japanese film made by Americans.
Oh no! That's how in other words, the worst way possible.
I guess. So that's probably that's one of the few nitpicks. Obviously, again, it's an open world, so it's going to have its open world stuff. Where again, I think I notice it more after The Last of Us, but I think it's really because things tend to not repeat, but you can see, oh, this kind of looks like that other house I was in that other village. And I mean, it's like, well, of course it will. You know what I mean? It's an open world. It has no choice but to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think I got a little spoiled with The Last of Us. But anyway, other than that, it is a lot of fun. I cannot wait to go back to playing it. It is. I love. Again, there's a lot to enjoy here. It is again. I can't express it. Just basically an open world. It's an open world game, but not your sandbox game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your favorite.
I know. Yeah, I know. And then I can't even argue that point.
A que no le gusta el caldo, as they say, as the abuelita say.
Oh yes. Dang it, abuelita. Why you gotta have always the good stuff to say?
The abuelitas know best. Yeah,
they do.
They always know best. Yeah,
they do. But that's all actually I've been playing. And then, of course, I just wanted to throw in, I did watch last night a film, the first part of the Samurai trilogy, because I was getting ready for
you were
the game.
You were psyched up, yeah.
Yeah, and I can definitely recommend that movie if you like samurai films. It's called Samurai, essentially, is what it's called. And it is a trilogy.
Very to the point.
I only saw the first one, but it is actually really kind of touching. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, this is actually, I like this, even though it's a little odd at some points. But it's very old. It's in 1954, so it's an older film, but still very cool. And definitely can recommend that. I actually posted that into the group, so if you're interested, you can go ahead and look that up. But cool. That, ladies and gentlemen, is all that we have been doing. And we are back, guys, and it is time for our useless news that you can use.
You know what you can use? You know what I can use right now?
What's that?
Another fan, or maybe lower the AC more.
That usually works. I think that works better than fans, because fans, I think, just oscillate the same hot air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not
cool the air off.
You're not seeing this right now, but I am violently moving my door, opening and closing, just so I can get some air circulating here. Because my God. Oh my God.
The PC life, ladies and gentlemen.
In a small room. Shut up! The PlayStation gets super hot too. I would say it makes the room even hotter, so shut up.
Oh, by the way, something I wanted to mention. I'm sorry. And I should have mentioned this. Just real quick, going back to Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know what Sucker Punch did, but they seriously figured out a fast travel. It does not take long.
I heard that.
I'm playing on the base PS. I'm not on the newer PS4. I'm on the base PS4, and it literally takes maybe 3 seconds. I'm just like, holy shit! I was like, damn.
I was reading something along the lines of the developers of Ghost of Tsushima artificially increased the loading time so that people have time to read the tips. And I was like, well, that's the stupidest thing that I've ever. And then I kept reading, and when I realized why it was, I was like, oh, okay, then I guess that's needed.
Yeah, because it was too fast. It's too fast. I'm like, wow. I literally, because I have a habit, right? We all have that habit. Yeah. If it's, you're going into something, you're like, all right, let me grab my phone, or let me sit back and whatever. And it's just like, boom, it's
Instagram
like,
for 3 seconds.
Holy crap. Yeah. And then, and fun fact, Last of Us 2 was the same way. You died, and it would take forever to reload again, right? No.
Yeah. No.
Again. Yeah. It was just like,
you know what I think?
What crazy magic are they? Did they finally discover at the end of the life cycle of this console?
I think so, and I think that's why they plan to exploit that power on the PS5. I think so. They realized the magic behind loading times. I know. Seriously, I think it's it's like they discover they can install, they can create a mini black hole. and that on that black hole, like it sinks all the time out. It's like everything's insane.
I was blown away from The Last of Us. Obviously, The Last of Us, when you first load the game, Last of Us 2, you first load the game, there's a significantly low time to load the game. Then, if you never die, there's never a load, right? It constantly flows forward. But then I died the first time in Last of Us 2, and I just immediately assumed that it's going to take a while. But no, before I look up and I'm like, oh shit, it's just waiting for me to press X. Okay. Then the next time I died, I stared and watched it, and the X was there in a couple seconds. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty good. And here I am playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm doing fast travel. I'm like, okay, this is going to take a while, No, I'm there in the same seconds. I'm like, and everything's loaded. It's not like textures are filling in as the thing's popping up. I'm like, I don't know what sorcery they figured out finally, but
how's the frame rate? Is it
the
solid?
Frame rate's locked at 30 for me. Yeah, it's locked at 30.
Oh wow, then that's really good then. Okay, all right.
I haven't had any that I've noticed. I haven't had any slowdown. It really runs really. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, man, this is, as a technical game, I can definitely say it's a beautiful looking game. And then on top of that, these little, quality of life things where it's like, man, this is running really, really well. I like it.
They did a good job.
Yeah, credit. All right, so moving on. Anyway, useless news, guys. Well, that's the first piece, right? The first piece, hey, check out the loading times on Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2. I don't know what magic they figured out, but they figured that shit out.
And it was too fast, and the developers had to pretend that there was loading time because otherwise people were going to realize the black holes. There is tips, but you're only going to see, like, you're going to get like reading halfway through one tip and go, all right, we're back. I'm like, whoa. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, so that's insane. No, seriously.
A feast relegated only to PC before. Now, Sony's showing that it can do that, and the next generation is going to show that it can best any loading times on PC with its magical, power beast.
Yes, I guess. I don't know
nuclear what machine.
I don't know. I really don't know what they stumbled upon, but I think they realized that, guys, we've literally got the golden goose here, guys. Let's make sure.
Who would have thought? This last year or this generation that's about to end, it was all about movement controls. Kinect, or VR later on, or whatever, or move, and no, it was none of that. All we needed was, hey, someone at Sony just very cautiously raised his hand and went like, how about if we find a way to improve loading times?
And of course they laughed at him at first.
Everybody started laughing, except Mark Cerny. Look at him with like caring eyes, because he knew that poor that poor intern was up to something.
Was on to something, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mark Cerny saw the shine in his eyes and was like, how if we can actually improve the loading time, because that's how he talks,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's very meticulous in the way he talks.
Yeah, it's very gentle. Also, very AMSR, whatever the thing is. Can't even say it. Anyway, so
news. All right, getting to the news piece. The first news piece I have. It's actually a shocking one that you, my friend, shared recently. So I hope I'm not stealing this from you. I might be.
Oh no! By all means, please.
Xbox One consoles, except for the Xbox One S, have reportedly been discontinued to lead up to the launch of the Xbox Series X.
That's it. Close shop, guys. We're done for. We are done. Somebody added the 4.
I guess,
didn't say 4. I said done. We're finished. We're done with this. We couldn't win this one, guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's save our strength for the next gen. Let's start pumping up those Xbox Series X's now.
I gotta tell you, when you posted that, I was like, okay, this is obviously some sort of fucking clickbait shit that I'm not even sure why he's sharing
right,
this.
Because that's what I'm gonna post.
Yeah, I know, but I was just like,
quality. They're vetted. All right, I have you know.
Vetted.
Yes,
I love
by
that.
me.
Yes. Believe it or not, from GameIndustry.biz, retailers in Australia and U.S. have all either removed the Xbox One family of consoles from their storefront or marked them discounted. The U.S. Amazon store shows that all the Xbox One consoles, base, S, and X, have been discounted. However, Microsoft executive Dan Tavares clarified on Twitter, the Xbox One S is very much still available. We just change SKU numbers. Amazon is just messy in how they show products. Wow. Tavares did not mention... Yeah, for real. Did not mention the other versions of the consoles. Metro has also reported that Target, Target, Amazon both discontinue Xbox. So, in essence, all the consoles, they are no longer making, except for the S, they're no longer manufacturing any of these new consoles, and we are still technically in that console generation. So, wow.
They know. they know that. I mean, listen. If si estas alturas, if at this level, if at this late in the generation, you're still considering buying an Xbox, an Xbox
One X,
the X. Thank you. They know that it's available. It's gonna the supplies are there. They don't need to manufacture anymore because guess what? There's not gonna be any more demand for it. The thing is, I mean, it probably hasn't been. They've always been claiming that they've been selling, and I don't have a doubt of that. It's just they're not selling the numbers that Sony's selling, and they never did. So
and this year,
so yeah,
yeah.
I think in a way, yes, it's kind of shocking the fact that they're closing shop so soon. They are sunsetting that console already so early, and they probably have the S because obviously they need to have something probably easier to or less expensive to manufacture. And B, the people that all the people that want an Xbox One X already, they own it. So
the most powerful console on the market, the market, has been discontinued, guys. So I hate to bring up or beat a dead horse when I go back to console gaming and how much power means to a console gamer, but I think the proof here is kind of in the pudding at this point, where it's like, well, that is the most powerful console and there's no argument. Sony can't argue that. No one can argue. So yes, you look at just looking at the actual stats that the actual console has, it is a powerhouse of a console, and yet it's discontinued now because no one is buying it. Why is no one buying it? Because there's no reason to buy it, and so
the games aren't there.
Yeah, and they're still at it. Look at this year. I was just gonna say, look at this year. This year has brought us The Last of Us 2. Obviously, we already knew that. Ghost of Tsushima now. We go back. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake. Those are three major titles. I feel like I'm missing one in there, but that's fine. Even if I'm not missing, those three already are, yes, Final Fantasy Remake will be coming to Xbox, but at that point, will it even matter? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's who wants that game has already got that game. You know what I mean? Right. And they got it on this console, and it's just like, it's. Wow, man! It really shocked me when you posted this. I was like, I cannot believe, because how often or how much back when we think of the PlayStation 3 when they finally announced, or even worse, the PlayStation 2 when we were way into the middle of the life cycle of the PlayStation 3, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're discontinuing the PlayStation 2." I'm like, "What? I already thought it was." Yeah, it's like, who's still buying this? You know what I mean? So that alone just really says we're not even in next gen yet, and they're having to pull plugs on. And I mean, sure, for the record, let's be real. We can also point to COVID being obviously a difficult time to pay for a major piece of hardware. Sure, I'm not can't discount that, but I don't think they were flying off the shelves before COVID started either.
No. If anything, yes, they know the resource. Listen, whether you like it or not, the resources are limited. The manufacturing resources are going to be limited because of the pandemic and all that, and decisions have to be made. And yes, it's shocking. At the same time, it's the right thing to do because it wasn't going to sell anything anymore. I think they should start completely focusing on their strategy for next gen. And if they base it only on power, then they already lost this next generation. Also, this time they have to, like, earth, wind, and fire. They have to move all the fucking elements to make sure they get games, they get exclusive that people will live and crave and know. Halo is and fucking Forza and Fable and all that crap. Those are not the exclusive that people want. And Gears, nobody wants that anymore. Sorry, Microsoft, but it's a fact. It's that has been overused way too much. You're never gonna capture with this next coming Halo, and I'm a Halo. I like Halo, but you're not gonna capture the magic of the Halo 2 event where people were lining up and the crazy thing and like your days of the 360, the heydays were over. Are over. They need to focus and now on this next generation on games. If the wording is all about how much powerful this console is going to be, well, guess what? Sony's console, it's already been known to be second as far as the power, but they have it where it counts. And not only that, all the plethora of games that are coming out to it got people already excited, already lining up for this one. Meanwhile, and a sexy box, and on top of that.
On top of that, yeah.
They're already in a little bit of trouble on that. So I'm glad that they're finding original or interesting and original ways to maintain their market share. And like I think the idea of what's the service called? Game Pass. Thank you. I think that's mad cool. Guess what? Once Sony realizes the magic behind making that happen, you're fucked. Because that's the only thing you got going on right now. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna. And maybe Sony doesn't need to do the sacrifice, because I'm sure that's gotta be some level of sacrifice of a Game Pass, because they don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
But
which is why they're not rushing to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the only reason they went with crossplay is because at some point they got painted into the corner and said, "Okay, we have to do it now.
We have to do something." Yeah. We have to have some sort of backwards.
They have. Yeah. They're not painted into that corner where they have to now start giving you those things. And realistically, PlayStation Now actually kind of does a lot of those little things. You can download your PlayStation 4 games, PlayStation 2. I don't know if it goes back to PS1, but you can there's games available and you download them. You don't actually have to stream it. The only ones you have to stream are PlayStation 3, unfortunately, because of the stupid cell processor. Yep. But other than that, the service is pretty much very similar, and it's the same price now at $9.99. So it really isn't that far off. So they're like, well, we don't even need to talk about it. It's already out there. People are using it, not as much as Xbox Game Pass, but when you look at that, you go, well, of course they're using Xbox Game Pass because there's no new fucking games coming out. What else are you gonna play? You know what I mean? So obviously that's what it. And again, I'm not trying to insult any Xbox. I'm not trying to be a Sony fan.
No, this is in no way. This is no way fanboy, because I'm the farthest state from a fanboy. I actually find Sony fanboys to be more annoying than any other type of fanboy on anything else. But that's because
they're winning right now. That's why. When the console is doing well,
I even remember when Xbox went up there. It wasn't. It was never as bad. Sony. So no offense to Sony fanboys, but let's be real. Yeah, they're kind of in.
It's like the and I hate to bring football, but it's like the Patriots. Everybody hates Patriots fans. Why? Because their team always wins. It's like, well, fuck that thing. They're no for good, and I'm like, yeah, but they are really good, guys. You don't just win that many times. You know what I mean? So anyway, moving on, sir. What's your piece?
I guess we're not moving on that far. Sony would like to let you know. First of all, Sony would like you to chill the fuck out. Nice. Because the pre-orders are not happening yet. All right, chill. They're not gonna just go ahead and drop it down at the minute's notice for you to freak out and start lining up on stores and stuff like that. Earlier this week, Sony rumors started that the PS5 will be made available for pre-orders this week, but Sony said not to expect such a surprise when it comes to dropping cash early. Speaking to Jeff Keighley during a Summer Games Fest stream where the PS5 DualSense controller was being shown, Sony worldwide head of marketing Eric Lempel said the company will let folks know ahead of time when they can pre-order the console. And the quote said, "I think it's safe to say we'll let you know when pre-orders will happen. It's not going to happen with a minute's notice. That's basically what he's saying. We're going to at some point let you know when you can pre-order the PlayStation 5. Please don't feel like you have to run out and line up anywhere until you receive official notice on how that will work. So people, honestly, relax. I know everybody's super excited about it, me included, but we don't need to be making lines already. Like there have been some report of some lines in some stores already.
Are you serious?
For when the rumors started going out that hey, it's gonna be this week, it's gonna be announced, it's gonna be this week, da da da, and people started freaking the fuck out.
Wow.
Sony have already gone on record also saying that they expect to ramp up production by as much as 50%, which again, listening to that makes it sound like they are bending the rules of time and space.
Yeah, I know.
Do they know there's a pandemic going on over here, or they're just doing that regardless?
I keep saying it, and I'm just like, man, I don't think that's going to happen this year. You know what I mean? I'm almost positive that it's just not going to happen this year. But I mean,
they say 10 million before the end of the year, and we still don't even know when the fuck it's gonna be released. So if they say if it gets released in November, are they gonna do 10 million?
No.
Are they gonna have 10 million units ready? That means that boxes are in warehouses right this moment.
They have to be if they're going to be trying to do 10 million. I know that they upped their production recently, is what they were saying, and it's just like
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But why? Why would you?
I mean,
I don't know.
Not why. Obviously, it's gonna sell. Obviously, we know the why.
It is. Well, I mean, I see what you're saying, and I think it is, but I think people they're underestimating how many are affected by what's going on. You know what I mean? I think they're really. I think that. I hope that they're not being drawn by the numbers and games that are being sold. It may be a lot easier to drop $60 in a week, even if you're unemployed, maybe, working a job you don't normally work and whatever. But, you want to have that, you want to have some sort of sense of normalcy. And you're like, well, this game came out. I probably can't get Last of Us 2, but I'll get Ghost of Tsushima, and I'll pay for that. And that'll be a game that'll take me a while. At least that'll take me whatever. It's easier to drop, especially when you have a lot of people who have like maybe some coupons or some sort of credit or something. You know what I mean? Something that they can use to put towards to it. And I was like, I hope they don't look at that and go, especially looking at Last of Us 2 and how it hit record sales in like 4 days, and it's just like don't let that fool you. A lot of people already had money set aside for that, you know what I mean? And it's like that's not the same as dropping what may be $500-$600 on a console late into the year, months into the pandemic. It's like, I don't know, do I really maybe I'm just the only one out on this island saying I don't think you should I don't think you should do this, but I don't know.
I think at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong. Well, it'll be wrong if they are suddenly overworking and people and put them in danger by forcing them to work during a pandemic or anything like that. That obviously that major thing aside, I don't think there's anything else wrong with having the units ready, especially when this is a year where they have they have a competitor also releasing on the same year. And let's not forget that, yes, I get it, everybody that wants a PS5, that knows a PS5 is set, they're gonna wait for a PS5. If it's not available on if a PS5 if a PlayStation fan wants a PS5 and it's not available in the store and they only have Xbox Series X, they're not gonna jump to do that, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But
that's
parents,
and oranges, basically. Yeah.
But parents might, so they don't want to have a situation, run into that situation where suddenly they have, shortages, because they're not Nintendo. You can't replace a Nintendo machine with with a exactly. You can buy your kid a PlayStation 4. And the kid wanted a Switch, it's not gonna be happy, So but yeah, so it's I don't see anything bad with that. With that front. I think that's one of the reasons why what they're doing. The ramping up production is, I wouldn't necessarily say they know they can sell 10 million, because just like you say, yeah, it's difficult. You know, I think that people that want a PS5, however, that they know that this is going to be a costly machine, and therefore I like to believe that they're better prepared. So they probably have that save, just like they saved us $60 for The Last of Us. They probably have at least half of their allowance already, for whatever ends up the PS5 being. So I think they can still, I would rather the units are available and they're ready than finding ourselves with the previous launch situations where there'll be shortages for X or Y reason, and nobody was happy. So
fair enough.
Why not?
Fair enough. All right, my next piece, we're going back to Xbox.
To the past?
Xbox. Microsoft is set to host its next Xbox Games Showcase this coming week on July 23rd, which the company has now detailed a little further in a new blog post. The message for the stream is clear: games. Microsoft says viewers can expect their first look at Halo Infinite's campaign during the event, as well as updates on already announced title and brand new world premieres. Unlike the company's previous stream in May, this showcase is centered on first-party titles, which will come to Xbox and PC. Responding to rumors surrounding the event, Xbox Aaron Greenberg clarified further on Twitter that the event will just be about games and nothing else, squashing hopes for a surprise console reveal for the heavily rumored Xbox Lockhart or talk of price for the Xbox Series X.
Oh boy.
So
nobody wants to. Everybody's scared about it because they know the news on their pricing is not gonna be received well, unless Sony drops the magical $399.
Let me tell you, if $399 is what the discless one is, and let's say the other one's $499, dude, $399 in a fucking heartbeat. It's like the moment he'd be $399.99. By the time he says 99 cents, I've already pre-ordered it. that quickly. The funny thing is,
question. No, go ahead. Let's finish, but I do have a question. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's funny that the Lockhart is mentioned, and there are rumors that the Lockhart is actually significantly cheaper. So it may have this. Even low, I mean, it's just rumors, but they're talking like 250. I'm like, whoo, that's insane. Like 250 is quite the mark. Of course, that lets you, at that point we have to start asking, okay, what's in the Lockhart? How is it less powerful than the other one? What is it about it that makes it that cheap? Because at that point you're like, okay.
Easy. It doesn't have any of the rendering the rendering chips that it needs, because it's just a streaming machine. And a $250 streaming machine, that's expensive.
That is expensive as a streaming machine. I agree.
Yeah. So magical question here.
Yes, sir.
Throw it towards you, and I think you can guess where I'm going. So Sony said, and this is hypothetical. Sony go ahead and say $499, and Xbox says for the Series X $399. Where's your money?
Oh, that's easy, bro. It's on easy? PlayStation 5. Yeah. It's on
okay. I wanted to know what your threshold is, but if that's your threshold, let's make it more interesting. Okay. Xbox says $399. Sony says $599. Where's your money?
Honestly, my money is where the games are. That's just the God's honest truth.
Okay, wow.
It's the truth. I'm sorry. Wow. Right now, and you know what? This upcoming event should be the event that will shut me up, right? This is July 23rd. That's this Thursday. Okay? Is that this Thursday? Yeah, it is this Thursday. Yeah. So this Thursday coming up, less than a week from today, is the event of first-party games. These are first-party games that you're only going to be able to get on an Xbox brand box, right? It's either going to be
and a PC.
Or maybe PC too, sure. But the point is, that's really as far as console goes, that's the only way you're going to get it, right? So now it's to say, okay, show me what you got. Show me what there's really only one developer that they acquired that I'm a little bit like, it sucks that I'm not going to be able to see that anymore on Sony. Maybe, right? Because there's also rumors where even PlayStation or everybody's just like, at some point it's just going to be available everywhere. We're not even, what I mean? So there's that rumor as well. I don't think that rumor holds too much water at the moment. But Ninja Theory is they are making the follow up to Senua's Sacrifice, and honestly, I'm a little bit bummed that I'm not going to be able to play it on my PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 console, wherever it's going to be at. But that's just one game. I can easily say, oh, well, I still have Senua's Sacrifice, which is an amazing game, and I can easily revisit that anytime I want. So what else do you have? I have never been a Halo guy, and I've played Halo. All right, never been a Halo guy. I've never been a Gears of War guy, and yes, I've played Gears of War as well. I'm not a racing guy of any kind, so no, Forza doesn't talk to me in any way. So what else do you have? What are these guys? And Ninja Theory already came out with some weird 4-on-4 game where I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Was that? That's not your wheelhouse. Why are you in this? So little things like that have me worried. Like, yes, maybe you have the developers that I kind of like and appreciate, but what are you going to do with them? Yeah. What is it? And who knows?
Esports, bro.
The decision to do that is most likely Ninja Theory's decision. Not like, I think the acquisition of Ninja Theory happened after they were already in development for that particular game. So I don't blame Microsoft for that. But at the same time, I have to go, really? Even if I was the one acquiring Ninja Theory, it's like, look, stick with what you know. Good single player games. Do that. You know what I mean? But that's just me, and I know that the money in that is not as good as multiplayer. But realistically, my point is to say the games have to. This week coming up, this is when they have the opportunity to say, here are the games. Here's why you need to come over here. And they say that every year in every Microsoft event, and I go, talk to me, show me something I want. Here I am after years, and I'm still going, yeah, I want none of that. You know what I mean? None of that's making me cross the line. So will that change? I hope so, because I'd be happy to go into another ecosystem and enjoy a different type of game, but just they don't have it. And if they don't have it, then what the hell am I, why should I be excited? You know what I mean? So yes, I will pay $5.99. Why? Because I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get the next Horizon. I'm going to get the next Naughty Dog game. Ghost of Tsushima is already amazing. So yes, Sucker Punch, please make another one. You know what I mean? And then looking at all the other first party studios that they have, it's just like they're making games that I want. So if it's going to cost $600 to get those, fine, I'll pay it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying, because at that point you probably could build a gaming. No, I'm kidding.
You're probably right.
Not a $600. No.
But I still couldn't get these games. so it's still right back in the same
can you? Hey, Horizon Zero Dawn.
This is true.
Death Stranding.
You're right. So Ghost of Tsushima 2, I'll be able to get 5 years after its release. Okay.
There you go. I'm glad you understand. All right. My next piece. Metacritic will now make users wait 36 hours before posting reviews on a move that has us wondering, like, really? Now it is that you're implementing this? Like, what took you so long?
Oh, Naughty Dog and Sony. That's the difference there. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
Weeks after The Last of Us 2, you knew it. Yeah. Weeks after The Last of Us 2 was review bombed on Metacritic, the video game review aggregation website now requires people to wait more than a day after a game's release to submit their personal reviews. What the fuck are you guys doing reading personal reviews? For real, guys. Come on. You're in Metacritic. That's like freaking going to what's the best restaurant that you can think of? The best restaurant that Mad Dog can think of, which he's a foodie, so there's gonna be like stellar, and ordering the fucking salad, to go. That's basically what you're doing there.
To go, I love it.
Metacritic publicizes 2 review scores for any game. The meta score based on critics' review, and the user score based on the review submitted to the site by random Metacritic users. In the past, users could begin posting their scores for a game as soon as they released. I will argue that even before they were released sometimes.
Yeah. Without
necessarily having had the time to actually play them. Now, Metacritic has confirmed, and this was to Kotaku, that it implemented a new waiting period to try and cut back on the number of obviously erroneous user reviews. The quote goes, "We recently implemented the 36-hour waiting period for all users' reviews in our games sections to ensure that gamers have had time to play these games before writing their reviews." A spokesperson for the site told Kotaku in an email. This new waiting period for user reviews have been rolled out across the Metacritic games section and was based on data-driven research and with the input of critics and industry experts. Like, again, really, you needed to do research on this, huh, Metacritic?
Oh no, I have to call BS. I'm gonna tell you exactly where this came from. This came from Sony, and this came from Naughty Dog, and they were like, "Look, Metacritic, we need you to fix this shit." Because this right here, this 4.3 user score rating, is literally the opposite end of the spectrum with the other end of the rating. It's just, they were already, and for whatever reason, first off, I feel if you make a piece of art and it's out there, and I don't care, it's just like, hey, that's, rate it however you want. You know what I mean? I don't think that Sony, I don't think that Naughty Dog should really get involved with reviews and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure they did here, because they were out on Twitter. They were out on, it was maybe not Sony, but definitely Naughty Dog and some of the Naughty Dog people. Even this guy who played Joel. Fuck is his name? Anyway, the guy who played Joel. He was, they were out there and they were just like, defending and everything. Just like, guys, just let it be. You're fanning the flame for no reason. It's obvious when you look at the Metacritic rating. It's like, okay, obviously these guys are upset about something. This is what this is coming from. To say the least. So that's where I think the pressure came from, personally, because this is not the first time a game got review bombed. Review bombed? No, I'm just surprised that this is the time that they decided to. Well, surprised and not surprised, because you're right. At this point, it was ridiculous. The fact that you could review a game that wasn't even released, already, because you read some leaks and whatever. It's dumb. But hey, good. You finally took the step, so I guess we can give you credit for that. You have the next piece. I guess, keeping it in the Microsoft camp. I don't know why. Xbox.
Because you're a fanboy. You're obviously a Microsoft fanboy. That's all you want to talk about it today.
Clearly.
We got you. Yeah.
Head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, coolest guy in gaming for the record, spoke with German
Jeff
outlet.
Keighley. Jeff Keighley. Come on. That's
that's true. Yeah. Well, Jeff Keighley's more of like, I don't know. That man is just a shepherd.
Yes, exactly. Like, you're not going to attain the name of Jeff Keighley. In the name of Jay Keighley, I denounce anything bad said about Jeff Keighley.
That guy is something serious. Yes. So Phil Spencer spoke with German outlet GameStar and revealed that Microsoft plans for cross-generational titles on Xbox Series X and Xbox One aren't quite set in stone. While Spencer previously said that he doesn't expect to see next-gen exclusives for a couple of years, he clarified that it's completely up to Microsoft first-party studios whether they target both consoles or not. Quote, we added a lot of studios to the Xbox Game Studios organization over the last few years, and providing them the financial stability, the creative freedom to go build the game that they want to build, Our game creators want to build great games that can reach a large audience of players. However, Spencer says that the vision for each of these first-party titles starts with the player rather than the system. So the platforms that each individual title hits will be dependent on the developer's vision. Quote, if a creator comes to us and says, no, I really want to focus on next gen with their game, we're completely open to that. We're very supportive. If a creator comes to us and says, I have a vision for reaching these customers across different platforms or different generations, we're completely supportive of that. It is really about how our creators having choice and allowing them to build the games they want to build to reach the audience that they're looking for, not things that are mandating to our creators in terms of what they have to go build. So a lot of sort of a little bit of word salad there, but essentially it sounds like they're not restricting them from having cross-generational games. So technically he's saying if they decide to become cross-generational, then possibly the couple-year wait that they were talking about first-party exclusive may be shorter. Will it be an actual, first-party title on next-gen console that merits having a next-gen console? Maybe not. Not if you're making it cross-generational and it can run on the Xbox One S, which is the only thing they're manufacturing right now. So I don't know. What do you think?
And the millions of Xbox One X users that reported that have purchased so many Xbox One X's that Microsoft just ran out. They can't make anymore.
They cannot. No, there's not enough material on the planet Earth to make all that.
No, exactly. I mean, not if they want to release another console,
Yeah.
We're going on July. We're going to end July, and we still don't know the prices of these fucking things. It's starting to weigh on me a little bit.
Okay.
But no, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, it's great. It's great that Phil Spencer gives the
choice.
Basically, the choice. Exactly. Yeah. Basically, the choice for the developers to decide where and what platforms they want to release their game. And I mean, I'm never a fan of time exclusive. I understand the position. I understand the reasoning behind platform exclusive. I do understand that. That it's kind of like a necessary evil. Because obviously, unless your idea of it is, well, fuck the platforms, we just want to sell games, which, hey, it could be that. That's what Sega betted on doing. When they got away from the console race.
Yeah.
At who knows, But I still like the fact that at least these companies will have, or these development studios will have a choice, and I mean it will only benefit, right?
Yeah.
It only benefits us gamers,
Yeah.
I don't want to constrain my games to just a particular platform for a year. That's kind of stupid. Anyway,
I agree.
I'm not saying that will go away. They're not saying it's going away, but shortening the time frame, that could be on the right step. All right, we'll skip it to Microsoft because why not? More like Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yes.
To let you know that the game will ship on 10 DVDs and will still require a download to launch. Wow. I think this is more symbolic than anything. This is more like sure, we'll have the physical edition for those who want to install 10 DVDs. First of all, for those who have DVDs on their computer, a thing that's kind of going away,
little by little,
more and more. Yeah. Microsoft Flight Simulator launches on Windows PC on August 18. That's around the corner. And the vast majority of fans will purchase the game digitally. Nonetheless, Microsoft is partnering with an European company for a physical release. The physical edition will ship on 10 double-sided DVDs
Dear Lord, they're double-sided. Oh my God.
And will come packed in a special accordion style box. It sounds outlandish, you think? But it's actually a boon for those with slow and severely constrained internet connections. I'm gonna have to stop right there and call that BS, because if you want to play Flight Simulator, I bet you're gonna need a decent internet connection. I would say if you don't have the internet capability to download the game, and I understand a lot of people, even in the States, does not have that, but then it probably won't have the capability to play this game properly, considering that this game is going to be streaming a lot of assets. I don't think that's
insane to me, bro. I mean,
I
what
don't
is
get
the size of that download? That download has to literally destroy everyone's fucking data cap. I mean, it's impossible.
See, that's the thing. I don't, unless you tell me that the disc. I don't know. This is me speculating. All right, I'm not basing this on anything. But if you know how Microsoft is saying, well, this game is out, and then we're going to be streaming, content, right? Well, what if the DVDs is all the content needed for streaming? Where you don't have, you don't need a connection, then that will make sense. In my head, I'm sure I'm not thinking everything, all the repercussions, but if I don't think they're gonna release a 2 terabyte game or whatever, however many double-sided DVDs are in content. 10. I don't think that's what it is.
Let's just assume that disc 10, they didn't need the other side of the disc, right? Let's just assume for a moment they didn't need that space. You still have 9 discs that are double-sided, so that's 18. That's ridiculous, bro.
I don't think the game is that big. Honestly, I don't think it's about the. That's what I'm saying. I think maybe those are the assets that were meant to be streamed from when you're playing. When you're playing the game. Because in Flight Simulator, it's basically a simulation of the planet, right? You can land pretty much anywhere. It has supposedly almost every airport.
And then all the details of it, yeah.
And with the details on that, exactly. And it's streaming the details from Bing Maps. So maybe that's what they did. That's what they have. Hey, I'll have you know, Bing Maps are not terrible. Okay.
I didn't say they were terrible.
I heard you. I heard you scoff. I heard a scoff there. Unless you were just actually coughing.
No, it was more of a sneeze and cough. We'll call it a snuff.
Okay.
Really what it was.
Details of the I'm sorry, you were gonna say something?
No. Go ahead.
All right. Details of the retail release come via Aerosoft, a developer and publisher of simulation hardware and software. I'm not gonna pronounce the name of that. Actually, never mind. The box set will include 90 gigabytes of data and will still require an update from Microsoft before the game launches.
90 gigabytes of data.
Well, I mean, wait, but isn't Call of Duty like 100 though? There was a game that was breaking the 100 gigabyte barrier already. So that gigabytes is not terrible, considering the games that are out there now.
Wait, maybe I misunderstand. Isn't the 90 gigabytes on top of the already discs that you have?
I see. The box set will include 9. No, that's what it has. 90 gigabytes of data.
Oh, so then you're right. Whatever. Yeah. This game is just confusing to me now. Fucking flight sims. Who plays flight sims? For you. I know you do.
No. Honestly, not me. I mean, I will buy just for the novelty, but because I want to see if I can land. I can see my house. But there's a lot of fans of flight sim of this particular. There's a lot of people that are not gamers that are super fans of this
Flight Sims? Okay.
particular series. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can see
Because
that.
it's like of the best out there. And then Microsoft at one point stopped making them, but it still was selling the Microsoft. I think it was Flight Simulator 10. It was still selling, and that game is old at this point. So the fact that they brought it back and it looks amazing, it looks ridiculous. Uh, yeah, I guess it got a lot of people excited. I would like to see it. I mean, I would like to. I wouldn't mind if I heard enough good things. I might even consider buying a joystick, to play it. Because I remember playing my Flight Simulator 10 and it being fun. The problem with it was that the simulation aspect of it, I was not a big fan because I don't know how to fly a plane, so I didn't know what I was pressing on doing. I just wanted to like take off, and once I took off, it was like, well, there's nothing to shoot at. So I'm
at some point you're really
flying.
Just sitting and chilling. For
I'm
a while.
flying, and it looks really slow. And let me see if I can crash.
For someone who doesn't like fishing, for the record.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Fuck this game. I mean, I'm happy for those that like it. It's not for me. I'm not even gonna.
Oh my god!
Let's be real.
You heard it here first, guys. Flight simulators are the fishing of video games.
Oh god! Why do you have to put it that way?
I know that's horrible. I take that back.
Oh.
My last piece, real quick, guys. Not very big, but it's actually kind of cool, and that is No Man's Sky. Gets a free update. Yes. Available right now, and it gives some creepy Dead Space flavor. Called Update 2.0, dubbed the Desolation Update, introduces derelict freighters that you can scavenge for riches and new story content. If you survive using the revised combat mechanics, according to the patch notes, you can find an abandoned freighter on your own or pay a scrap dealer for the coordinates. These derelict freighters are procedurally generated, so no two encounters will be the same. The lights are off, support and gravities are offline, so you'll need to expend resources. And security AI regards any intruders, such as yourself, as a threat. Plus, some of them have been infested with bug-like aliens. Yes, your No Man's Sky users look forward to being... killed by some bug-like aliens.
No more. It's like and what's his name? The Halo game guy.
Master Chief.
No, the Halo. Sorry, sorry. My accent messed me up again. The Halo games, not the Halo games. The Halo. Halo games guy.
Sean something.
Sean
Murray? Something. Murray. No. That sounds right. Yeah, we'll go.
Oh, is it? Okay, we'll go with that. Dude, enough. You already vindicated yourself several patches back. Okay, we get it. No Man's Sky is a good game. Actually, I take it back. It's a great game. You made it. You did it. Stop. You can stop now.
Honestly, I honestly, in a way, I agree. In a way, it's just like, okay, I kind of like to see, because I remember they used to do that weird motorcycle game. I can't think what it was. It's
don't go back to that. Yeah, Joe Danger or something like that.
Oh yeah, I actually like Joe Danger, for the record. It was actually pretty cool. But anyway,
yeah,
I don't
want to go back.
They're the guys who did Joe Danger, and here they took on this big thing, and it's whatever. But I think every time there's a huge release, a huge announcement, they probably see a nice little spike in sales again, and I think, I think these efforts are not just not being like the same thing what happened with Shovel Knight, right? People are like, Shovel Knight is coming out, and they're just releasing these free updates with Plague Knight and King Knight and all this stuff, and you're like, how are they making money? It's like, well, each time they release that, there's media news about it, and they probably see a nice spike in sales again. You know what I mean? So it helps. It helps sell an old game. And yes, they're not making the same amount, from the new ones that come out. But still, I believe that they are probably seeing more sales because of it. So at the same time, yes, I agree. At some point, I'm like, okay, what's the next project, guys? What are you doing next?
It's like you already proved yourself. No Man's Sky, you made it into an awesome game. I'm sure that Sony is picking you back up, being like, "Hey, hello,
We knew you could do
guys,
it.
we knew you could do it. We never doubted you. What's that? No, that we threw you under the bus. What are you talking about? No,
we actually put you on stage. Did you forget?
What?
You were on
Yeah,
stage.
exactly. Yeah, that's water under the bridge, anyway. So
Exactly. That's so
When's-
like
when's the
2014.
sequel
Don't
happening?
even worry about that. Oh, that's hilarious.
Sir, I am bingo on content, so I think.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Well, I will say I would say this is not news, but I will consider it equally important because the internet needs to see this, and it was the video of Superman himself, Henry Cavill, building his PC gaming rig, and it was quite a thing of beauty to see him put it together. The PC, not Henry Cavill. I mean, I'm sure he's a very handsome individual also.
Look, I'm pretty secure in my sexuality. I mean, we got to call.
We got to figure out what it is, you know.
we got to call a stallion
I'm not
what a
gay,
stallion
and
is.
there's nothing wrong with that. But if I was, I would wreck him, you know.
I'm not going that
just
far.
saying.
I'm not going
too
out
far.
there with you, my friend.
Damn it! I did a Chandler.
Yes. That is one tasty dish. Oh man. I love
My
Friends.
god, that video! Yeah, I love Friends too. I'm actually still watching. I'm on season 7, 8. Anyway, yeah, that the video. It's very interesting just to see. You know how everybody pictures, the PC gaming nerd, me, for example, building a PC, sitting on the floor, sitting on the floor, just putting shit together and being all nerdy and crap. And somehow he managed to make that video, look sexy, PC building. Sexy, he even when he's grabbing the PC, he's pretending like, oh, this thing is heavy. When he's fucking Superman, he can probably lift it with one arm,
Exactly.
But he's pretending, just to kind of throw us a bone to us here,
Us petty humans, yeah.
Yes, us petty, yeah, exactly. It was a thing of beauty. Also, giving him props, also because. I thought I was gonna see not like a Verge level of bad PC building, but maybe something that would be like, oh man, come on, like very amateurish. The guy obviously knew what he was doing. I mean, he did put the water block upside down at some point, but he realized, he made light fun on it at one point, and he fixed it, and the end product was like something. I would be super proud of. I mean, it was gorgeous. He was, not to mention that looking at his selection of hardware, like you could tell, it's like, does he have money? I wonder if he has money.
I wonder if this guy can just afford any piece of tech he wants at any point.
I'm just wondering, yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. All right, guys, we'll be right back with our Hot Topic.
Hot Topic.
Welcome back, guys. And it is time for our Hot Topic of the Week.
Hot Topic!
Hot Topic, guys, again, is our Scott Pilgrim review.
10 years late.
10 years later. Technically, this was actually recorded 10 years ago. Little do you guys know, you are listening to 2010 right now.
Yes.
And guess what? There's no pandemic happening right now.
No, but we guessed that it was going to happen in the future, and we warned you about it, because Mad Dog is a time traveler. You guys didn't know that, but it's too late. He already traveled into the future. He's also a millionaire because he bought a lot of Tesla stock evidently when we didn't know what the fuck was that. I thought he was buying like pasta, and suddenly he's a trillionaire now.
I gotta tell you,
somehow the podcast quality didn't improve. We should have been the Time Warner by now.
Yeah, it should be.
Still,
yeah, let me tell you. If Back to the Future is any indication, I should be running this joint. I should be king of the world.
Listen, I wouldn't fuck with anything because I saw the butterfly effect, and that did not end up well. So
no, you're right. That did not end up well. You're absolutely right. So yeah, guys. So we've watched. First off, I think we both can agree that we are pretty big fans of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the film, and we've talked about it many a times, and we've made little jokes on here, we made little comments, and that remind us of it, and it's one of those movies that kind of just exists, and it's part of our pop culture history, you and I, and I think Chaos would definitely agree. I hope he sends us his quick review so we can actually air it, but we'll see. So, sir, let's first start with your thoughts. What did you think about this movie when you first saw it, and rewatching it now after all these years, and how does it hold up?
So, unfortunately, I don't recall when was it that I saw this movie for the first time. This is one of those movies that, even though they're very near and dear, it's a movie that, quite honestly, everywhere you see it very decently reviewed. Mm-hmm. But so because it's because it meets the sensibilities of the people of its audience, of the actual audience this movie is meant to be, and not necessarily, it's not necessarily one of those movies that are open for everyone. Some of the people, some of our wives, for example, might not necessarily care for the movie too much. But I can't recall my first experience with it when I saw it. I can tell you that I watched this movie a few years after it was already released, and it was already considered like a cult classic, and I enjoyed it quite a whole lot because, again, I was its audience. It was a movie that started. It's funny because the way it starts doesn't necessarily gives a lot of confidence until it starts throwing all of those references. In this case, there were gaming references, and you catch up real quick on them, like from immediately. It starts doing that, and then you're like, oh, okay, all right, I need to see this through. It is fun. I know what I'm going to sit through, but you really don't.
Yeah.
Because then crazy things starts happening, and that's like, you're like, wait a minute, what? So I was very surprised and very pleased with watching it at the end to the point where it definitely became one of those movies that I will not mind rewatching over and over and over. And like I told you already, I don't rewatch movies for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm actually the same way. Believe it or not, this was not a film that I saw when it first came out in the theater. It wasn't until much later, and it really was because I think the failure of the marketing, right? Because I'm an avid movie watcher, right? And if it would have marketed in a certain way to kind of let you know what it's trying to do, it would have drawn more people to the theater. It did not. I don't know if that's a failure of the movie company or the marketing, whatever the case may be. I didn't see it until much after, and that's when I realized, holy crap, this is a great film. It's just like, why didn't I not know that this was out there? Same thing happened with, believe it or not, sidebar, same thing happened with The Matrix. Never saw the first Matrix in the theater.
God.
I saw it in the as a at that point it was a video cassette. That's when I saw it, and at that point I was like, why did I not know about this? You know what I mean? So there's something to say that when you have a high concept film, I don't think a lot of movie companies have figured out how to, one, get you interested, but two, not spoil the film, right? Because we've run into that many times where, okay, you've basically given me the entire film, so I really don't need to go see it. Now, there's nothing that's going to surprise me. Or two, you go, I don't know what this is about. I don't know if I'm going to spend money to go see this. You know what I mean? You're either end of the spectrum. I think that's the latter is what happened here with Scott Pilgrim, which that's exactly that. I did not know until much later, and I was like, man, blown away by. I was like, this is a video game movie that actually works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know that's an interesting thing. I guess I could probably look it up, but I don't believe that the game came out after this. So the
game came out after this, yes.
After this, yeah. So it's actually more of a comic book film, and so an early comic book film that also did work. Although Spider-Man and X-Men came out in the early 2000s, but even still, it's very high concept. I agree. It was like, man, I did not see any of this coming. Blown away by, just the little tricks that it does with the camera, the little, references that it makes to gaming, everything. It's just like, man, I cannot believe this movie exists, and so few people saw it. It's unfortunate because the movie, I think, critically was well received, but commercially not so much.
Before we dive too deep into it, I just like to give a premise for those. I guess it's safe to say that if you're listening to this part of the podcast, you already know we're talking about the movie, and it's a movie that came out in 2010, and we're gonna spoil the hell out of it because it's an older movie. However, we still invite you to. First of all, if you haven't watched it and you're curious about it, to avoid listening, go ahead and watch it and experience it for yourself, and then come back and get the rest of the podcast. Just because I think it will be enjoyable. That's a movie that throws some surprises here and there that'll be very cool to experience firsthand. But I also wanted to. If you don't care about spoilers or anything like that, give a premise. What is Scott Pilgrim versus the World about? First of all,
well, I mean, in essence, honestly, to really oversimplify it, Scott Pilgrim essentially must defeat his newest girlfriend's 7 evil exes in order to win her heart. This actually I'm reading right off of IMDb. That is an extreme oversimplification.
Absolutely, and that's fine. Maybe it pays to leave it that way because it paints a picture of okay, what does it mean? So this game sounds exactly like a video game, It has to in that description alone, it sounds like a Nintendo game. You have to defeat 7 bosses to be able to rescue the princess, right? Almost,
pretty much,
kind of.
In essence,
It's a movie, like I said, it came out in 2010. It is based on the graphic novel series Scott Pilgrim by Brian Lee O'Malley. It starts Michael Cera playing a Michael Cera-esque character.
For sure.
The typical character that they tend to put him in. Typecast him, I will say, unfortunately, a little bit because he plays him very well. It's this kind of underdog, dorky kind of awkward character.
You can almost say, considering Michael Cera beforehand, you can almost say that they created this character with Michael Cera in mind, right? Because it is a Canadian character, and Michael Cera being a Canadian actor, young kid, kind of goofy, kind of whatever, but kind of witty at the same time. They kind of just knew. They almost said that they. Someone that said, "All right, guys, we're going to make this graphic novel, and it's going to be about a character who's just like Michael Cera." You know what I mean? Like, okay, nailed it. Now what's going on? We'll fill in the blanks after that. That's kind of like what they did, because it is. You're right. You're absolutely right. This is I mean, Michael Cera character if we've ever freaking seen one. I think. Well, first off, I want to get real quick into how our significant others received this film.
Yeah, you remember, guys, when I was telling you this is a movie that is, to its audience, it's a great movie. To anybody else outside that focused audience, it's not well received, like, at all.
Yeah. My wife has actually seen it before, and for this rewatch, I put it on, and I really kind of put it on and said, honey, here's why I think is, and I kind of gave her a couple of points here as to, what the transitions are great, the comedy's well done, special effects actually really good considering that they're, very weird. It's a game. It's almost as a game. It's almost a game. You hear me? It's a movie.
I did it before. You didn't notice, and I didn't correct
it. No, I did not. Yeah. That's because I didn't correct you. I was like, oh, he's right. It is a game. No. So it is a film that really embodies, gaming culture in a way where it's just part of life. It almost feels like a fever dream of the character as well. And I'm sure many people can watch this film and almost, kind of deduce that this is, a lot of things that you're seeing is not even real. It's really more in the character's mind. Which, hey, that's another way of reading it. But so I kind of gave her a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I kind of gave her a lot of that stuff, and nope, second watching, and she's like, nope, I don't like this shit. Nope. That was Judy, sir.
There was. Let's say there was more than one occasion where I literally had to grab her to avoid her from standing and walking out. One of them I might have promised actually to watch a movie with her of her choosing. Oh. She said I watch this one, which is how I ended up, watching Fury, which was great. So she rewarded me. That's the kind of wife I have. She rewards me with a great movie. I gave her called Pilgrim, which is a great movie, but a great movie for me. It's like buying her a set of tools, Yeah. It's like, honey, this is great for the house, but I'm going to be the one enjoying them. It's still a great gift, but, it's a one-sided gift, basically. I tried to, I didn't explain it until afterwards, and by that time the damage was done already. She did not like the movie. She understood what it was about, what it was really about, and I appreciate the fact that she caught on it real quick, because the first time I watched it, I just saw it as it's a romantic comedy, movie. I didn't see more of what it was really about. It was not just a movie, a movie about two people ended up together and going through the obstacles or whatever, just end up together. It was about more than that, and she saw it as well, which is this is a movie that over more than anything is not about love. It's about self-respect. It's about reaching that level where you actually and it's funny because for a movie that uses a lot of metaphors, on the scenes, it actually spells it out almost in a way, at the very end where he finds himself discovering first off. Where they make it to where he discovers the power of love, basically, because he kept telling his wife that he lesbians him instead of he lesbians her instead of saying love, because he couldn't even put the feeling in words, and he gets that sword, like it even comes out of his chest, the flower of love, or whatever they call it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you see like a level up stat, kind of like an RPG game, where the stats go up with it, but he still gets defeated. Because that's not really what the end game was about. It's funny, there's an end game. In reality, and he actually happens to have an extra life, so it's almost like a continue. He replays all the events in his life up to that moment, and this time he chooses differently. It's not about love. It's about having doing things not for her, not for Ramona Flowers, his love interest, but for himself. And that's when again you see the whole level up thing where he suddenly discovers the power of self-respect, and
yeah.
he's taking the sword and again the mythical sword out of his heart basically, and now he super leveled up because now his stats grow a lot higher, and his so it gives you that it very very clearly, you don't have to overthink too much on it. But I did not see it the first time. Believe it or not, I still loved it. To me, it was still about a romantic movie, when in reality, it taught me a lot more, than that. That in order to defeat your evil, your evil ex or your evil whatever are your obstacles, in life, you have to start with self-respect. So I love that. I love the message. I love that, and it puts it in such a quirky and silly way. And once I found that out, it was like I leveled up.
But at the same time, it makes sense, and the little things that the characters go through, while are maybe a little over exaggerated in the film, are still real things. There's nothing in the film, unless you have, for those who have not been part of a band or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? But you do know that you're, like for instance, and I got to tell you, watching it again, it's been a while since I watched it, for the record, and watching it again and seeing him with Knives Chow, which
I love that character also. She's cool.
A little bit of a bad name, to name an Asian character.
Yeah.
But we'll skip that for now. But
there was a lot of things that would not be considered that right now be considered like really, but 10 years ago it was still funny.
10 years ago it was like, it is what it is. But no, seeing him with her and then knowing the age gap was like
the age gap.
Ooh,
she was 17 and he was 22. It was dating her, and as you can see because I have been in that place.
Ditto,
you can see the awkwardness of it. Huh?
Yeah. I said ditto.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. The awkwardness of, well, you're a man, or you're supposed to be a mature man already.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet you got this person, and this person with you, and that person is still in that stage of her life, and it's kind of. But it's also realistic, because that also points out how guys like us, we take longer to mature, right? So there is, there, and that's just the fact, right? And when you look at him with oh my God, Ramona, when you see him with Ramona, you realize, they're about the same age, but she is miles ahead of him when it came to just being mature and knowing who you are and what it is you want. And she's even though she didn't know herself what she wanted, though.
I was just saying, even though she was a character with flaws, she was still a little bit more ahead of him in many ways. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, man, do I love that girl. She's been in a lot of films that I've watched. Which
really, for some reason, I can't picture. I'm sure I've seen many pictures with her. I can't picture her on what other movie.
On any of them? Oh my God, the one, I don't know if you saw this one, so I don't know if this was.
It's gonna be a lot of no's.
No, I feel like you may have seen this one and said no, like you didn't like it. She was actually in 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think you didn't like that film.
I saw that movie. That was her.
That was her, yes.
Jesus, no, I would have never thought.
She also played John McClane's daughter in Live Free or Die Hard. Lucy.
Oh, I do remember that. Really, that was her. Okay,
that was her too.
She was younger.
So she's been around. There's a couple little roles here and there. She does actually a lot of not I don't want to say not famous, but not big roles, not blockbuster type things, which I'm fine with. I mean, those are the roles.
She was in Gemini Man. She was in Gemini Man. I haven't seen that.
She was in Gemini Man as well. Yeah, she was in Gemini Man. Yeah. That's actually more recent. So, which is again another blockbuster film where she generally doesn't really do. But yes, I almost didn't recognize her in that one too because I was like, that looks like her, but she looks like I don't want to say she looks different.
Was the
she just looked
in Birds of Prey.
I never seen that one. What's that?
Birds of Prey, the movie with the Harley Quinn movie.
I haven't seen that one.
I'm sorry. I apologize. The entire name, the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I apologize. I need to say the name completely.
That one I remember.
That's why you didn't recognize. Now you remember. There you go.
Yeah, that one I do remember. This film actually has a lot of names that were smaller at the time. Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick. She was in there. She plays his Scott Pilgrim's sister, and
I think she is on the top on the top level of my list. Okay. You know the list.
Yeah, we don't need to discuss said list. Aubrey Plaza, which has had many roles in a lot of.
Seeing her.
Aubrey Plaza. She's been in a lot of stuff. She's actually a pretty good actress as well. But one name that I want to bring up, which she's not even first billed in this movie, and that is Alison Brie, who plays Scott's ex-girlfriend, and yes, also Captain Marvel. That was her.
Oh, that was her!
Yeah.
Oh my God! I am blown away. Holy shit, that was her. I mean, because we all know Captain America is in this movie also.
Captain America is in this movie, that's right.
Yes. Chris Evans is actually one of the exes. And that's awesome. But no, I totally did not. Wow, you're right. She plays Natalie.
Yeah. Well,
that's her name.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Natalie,
her name.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. She changed her name or whatever. But
exactly.
Oh my God, yeah, that was awesome. Which is another thing I was gonna mention when you were talking about Scott Pilgrim dating a 17-year-old. The fact, it was almost like one of those rebound things that they kind of have to do to
realize
what's the word?
Yeah, to realize
limit the
what
pain.
You need to do?
Limit the pain of his breakup with his actual ex-girlfriend, which dumped him, and evidently it was bad because the movie tells you it was pretty bad.
Many a times, yeah, and insinuates it.
I love that. I love the fact that the movie breaks the fourth wall in many ways, in many times, to explain, to explain things like that, and I feel like it almost needs to do it because if you notice. This is a long movie actually. I think it's over 2 hours.
No, it's under 2 hours. It's an hour and...
I thought it broke...
Yeah, hour 52, yeah.
Okay, so it's almost breaking 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But you still see that all the scenes they're shot like really fast. Like you're never in a particular scene for too long. It keeps the pace really, really fast. It's to the point that something
is almost breakneck. Yeah.
Yes, but never to look like it doesn't throw you off. It's almost like because it's not that complicated type of movie. First of all, and second, sometimes it literally tells you, and then this happened, and then it throws you like into the next scene. So it's almost like I heard. Yeah.
The transitions in this film are some of the best transitions. A particular one that I remember is so follow me on this. He's walking. I think he's in a record store or maybe he's in a library with knives. They're walking down the steps. He first spots Ramona. He's hearing music in his head because he just dreamed of her last night. Knives is like, do you know her? Do you know her? And then out of nowhere, it transitions to to his singer of his band going, Scott, hey, you did nothing in that. Wake up! You did nothing in that last set. He said, "What are you talking about? I'm pretty sure I did whatever." It's all right. We're gonna go over here. Wait. I don't want to go. And then it cuts to them walking already over there. And it's just like, this is gonna be so bad. And then they get there, and then it cuts them there, and he goes, "This is so bad." It's so good. It's those types of transitions. Just they are a little what I call like a breakneck pace, but at the same time, it's like it works, man. It just works because it's just flipping you through what you need to go through. And oh man, I think that's the one thing I was telling my wife. I was like, honey, you got to understand. Look at these transitions. This is something Edgar Wright will bring to a film. You don't see this in anything else. You know what I mean? Maybe in some other higher or Academy Award-winning films that just stand out, but outside of that, you don't really see this. So
do you see that? Yeah. Do you see more? Do you know of other Edgar Wright's movies that play in that sense, that do like that?
That do that type of transition? No, I don't think anything specifically does that. But let me see. Let me bring up Edgar Wright here. Let me give you some of his history so you can kind of maybe tell where he's been. So he directed Baby Driver, which I think we all love.
Oh yeah, Baby Driver was awesome. I love that movie.
Shaun of the Dead, which is one of
oh my god, I already love this guy. Forget it. I'm already a huge fan. I'm sorry, I didn't know you, but nice to meet you.
But now I do. Oh, that's hilarious. He did also do Hot Fuzz, which was with a follow-up, and World's End. So he actually did the three, because I don't know if you know, but the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End are like a trilogy, but not really a trilogy. Like the story isn't the same. It's just the same actors.
Same universe? The same actors? Okay.
Yeah. So the same actors in Shaun of the Dead are in Hot Fuzz, and they're also in The World's End. And of course, this movie is directed by him. And then from there, he did a lot of TV. But those are his major credits that I know about. Some of his other work I'm looking it over now, and I'm not really familiar with a lot of these. So his major thing is Shaun of the Dead and Scott Pilgrim, believe it or not.
Wow.
I know. He's got a movie called Late Night in Soho that's currently in post-production. I don't know what that's about. I think that's the last biggest thing he's did. So, he doesn't take on a lot of projects, maybe because he doesn't get it. By the way, he was supposed to do Ant-Man, and he was shuffled out of Ant-Man, believe it or not, for whatever reason. Some
come
differences.
On, Marvel. What the fuck, Disney? You fucked up on that one.
Yeah, he was supposed to do Ant-Man. I remember that. That was like a big thing when that happened. It's like, oh man, we would love, but he has his thing. He has his particular thing that he wants to bring to it, and we all know Disney, Marvel are going to be like, no. This is what we need. You either get on board with it or we get somebody else, and they got somebody else. So it is what it is.
And Ant-Man wasn't terrible, but it wasn't fantastic either. So
I think if it was in Edgar Wright's hand, Ant-Man would have probably been one of the more original and
characters,
hilarious titles in the MCU. Yes.
Oh man,
that's just my
own
personal
opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never know, but that's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Circling back. I hate that word. Sorry. Coming back to Scott Pilgrim. This is we were discussing. I think it might have. I forgot. I was discussing the transitions. I also think that they did a great job bringing the characters of the comic book to life, and portraying them in their particular, almost like anime comic bookish.
Yes.
Kind of way, or manga, I guess. Yep. Yeah. They did a very, very good job with that. I especially like the fact that you have obviously this taking place in Toronto, I believe, and if I remember correctly, and they want to make, they bring the character of Ramona Flowers. Of course, this is in 2010. They want to make her as hip of a character as possible. So, of course, where does she work at? She works at Amazon. Because I guess back in the day, that was she's an American. She's from New York, and she works at Amazon. She's an Amazon delivery person, and just and also blue hair, or I think it was blue. Yeah, first it was blue. I know that she changes her hair at some part.
Yes, I was gonna say fun fact. Now that you brought up her hair color, I had a feeling that hair color was going to come up, so I was just waiting for me to bring it up or for you naturally to bring it up, because it is a major part of it. Because obviously he goes, he notices that her hair color changed, and he even vocalizes his concerns, like, "Oh, I think she's quick to change."
She's fickle,
yeah.
I think she's fickle.
So Ramona's hair colors correspond with the colors of the three goddesses from The Legend of Zelda. The 1986. Yes. Pink equals Din, blue equals Naru, and green equals Farore. So yes, also we all know just from the music in the film that Legend of Zelda is a big inspiration. Not an inspiration, but I mean, you could say inspiration, right? Because he has Link has to take on 8 dungeons in order to get to Zelda, and Scott Pilgrim has to eliminate 7 evil exes. I was going to say ex-boyfriends, but that's not the case. Evil exes.
Exes, even though it alludes to 7, ex-boyfriends or whatever, they want to portray it as. It's basically 7 bosses,
pretty much
that are almost going through the phases that Ramona has gone through her life,
in her life,
from when she was in school, when she was in elementary school, all the way to what she was
for her experimenting in college and
in college, yeah.
And then dealing with your rocks, because a lot of them are like rockers, right? You have your the guy who's he's a vegan, the vegan, right? He's a vegan, and
the vegan,
which was hilarious. I still love that.
Yeah,
so good. And then you have they're not twins, but they're the ones that they're part of that the Japanese band, and they were both her exes, and it's like, damn, it's like that, huh, Ramona?
She dated twins. Yeah. Also, she went through an emo phase, just like all of us at one point, right? Am I right? When he dated, I think one of the first boyfriends was like
the very first one,
The very first one, yeah. But something Patel, he was awesome.
Right. That's right.
It's like, didn't you get the memo? Oh, we're fighting today. Didn't you get the memo?
He avoided it, yeah.
It's and there's just so many tasteful game references, including the name of his band. The name of his band was the Sex Bombs.
Sex Bombs. You're right. You're right.
You're
right. I forgot it was the Sex Bombs.
It's hilarious. Yes. Yeah.
And I loved how they yelled it to the Sex Bombs. You're like, damn.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just the beginning of that, I was already fanboying like Knives Child. Yeah.
Like Knives, yeah.
Oh my god.
Another fun fact here regarding the Sex Bomb, the band battle between Sex Bomb, a Canadian rock band, and Katayanagi Twins, which is a Japanese electronic group, was actually performed by Beck, an American rock musician, and Cornelius Keigo Oyamada, an electronic musician from Japan.
Get out! Oh my god, that was Beck. Well, of course, nobody can play that playing the bass like that. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
See,
Uh,
it's the movie that keeps on giving on knowledge.
it does. That's how you know you have a treasure, right? Because when you have those movies that are one note, you know what I'm saying? You watch them, you enjoy them, and you move on. There really isn't anything else to reflect on. There's no rewatches are really more about rewatching action than it is really about finding new material, new I don't know, new points of interest in the actual film. So that alone explains how this film is, an important part of movie culture. I think for the most part. Sir, off the air, you had shown, or rather, you had sent me something that I had not seen or known about until today. I did not know this, and for a movie buff, I'm a little bit ashamed, to be honest with you, because I really should know this.
I showed something that he didn't know about. Awesome.
Yeah. There was an alternative ending. Sorry, guys, I'm having lots of beer today. An alternative ending to the film that never obviously got released with the film. But it is available for you to view, I guess, on YouTube, because that's where you sent it to me from.
Yeah.
And interesting stuff, sir. What do you take from that? Do you think the original ending is the superior and they went the right direction, or did they leave some stuff on the table that they should have probably put in?
I think it almost feels like there's a lot of this is not a new concept anyway. There's a lot of movies that tend to film a couple of endings. I don't know exactly. I'm not the movie buff to know much about this. I don't know exactly what the reason is. If the reasoning is so in case of leaks, or if the reasoning is for focus groups, or whatever the case might be. But this is actually in the original ending. You see Scott Pilgrim ends up with the girl, right? Ends up with Ramona Flowers. It's it's the good. Well, I wouldn't call it the good ending. It's the expected ending. Let's put it that way, almost, or the hopeful ending. But in this scene, it was a different take. It was actually the same setup. He has finished his fight, and so they're meeting back on the back of the whatever club they were in. And in this take, he actually ends up with his girlfriend from the beginning of the movie, Knives Chow, the 17-year-old that he was still dating.
That everybody was making fun of. It was like,
everybody was
dating somebody from high school.
Yeah. Which, mind you, for you to understand the weight of this particular scene, you have to understand that this character grew from kind of like the running joke of because the fact that he's dating a high schooler, whatever, it's ridiculous. And then the way the fanboyish way that she acts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say he's also on rebound because of what happened before.
Exactly. So this character grows from being kind of like this silly fanboyish, Asian girl, to there's a growth path for this character to the point where she becomes kind of cool. Actually, I love the fact when she about to she challenges. Actually, I think she challenges Ramona actually at some point, and she takes her weapons because, of course, they all have their weapon of choice, their metaphorical weapons, and of course, you can expect they're gonna be a couple of, well, I don't want to call them knives because they're not knives, they're swords,
Yeah, exactly.
And she fought, and she ends up being a really cool character at some point. Anyway, the thing is that on this ending felt particularly special because it's not even though it is a happy ending in itself. It's not the happy ending that you expect and that you hope. And I almost feel like it would have been fitting anyway to have him ending with her, but it wouldn't have focused very well because a lot of people expect that he should end with Ramona. So it almost feels like the bad ending on a game, when you make I make this choice and this is how my ending ended up, and you still accept it, even though again it's not that it's a bad end because it's still very touching, it's still very beautiful, and you can't help but feel sorry because Ramona Ramona Flowers kind of have to move on with her life. Obviously she hasn't had an easy life, and even though she had a special thing with Scott, it was not meant to be, and she has to move on, and she moves on, and it kind of like she disappears, kind of the same way that she appears. She kind of disappears into this mythical door, and by herself, and Pilgrim and Knives, they are together, and they go all their lives together. You can see them at the arcade, playing again in sync, in perfect sync, like they were when they were, before Scott Pilgrim met Ramona. So I did not dislike it actually. I thought that it would have been. I would have been okay with it, even though, again, I don't think that is the ending that the general audience would have preferred. Yeah.
No, for sure, because I can see why they went with the Ramona Flowers ending, because
of course,
realistically, in the end, you're a grown ass man, dog. Get yourself a grown ass woman. I mean, it's essentially the message that gets delivered there. But I can see why the other one made sense, right? And they were adamant in saying they were respecting the fact, he was respectful of the fact that, she was younger, you know what I mean? And I think they made a joke. No, we held hands and it was wonderful. It was like, okay, but when you look at the events of the film, that's where I go, yes, they chose the right take. And they chose the right take because the events of the film do lead to Scott and Ramona, shall we call it bumping uglies at some point. You know what I mean? They're basically together in, maybe not completely, right? Because I think she did kind of pull away and say, well, let's take us all. But yeah, but at the same time, you've already passed a certain point that you have not with Knives Child, for good reason, obviously.
Yeah, well, obviously
you can't. So at that point, you're like you've already reached a level of intimate, with her, and then on top of that, you did all these things to be with her, and so to suddenly go back and go, yeah, I'm just gonna go back being, it does feel jarring, and it just makes more sense that he realized that it's time. You're no longer that kid. It's time to grow up, and if you're going to do so, then you can earn an adult relationship. If you're not, then it can go back the other. It's cool because it almost has that quintessential decision at the end of a video game, right? You choose one ending and you go with one, and that's your ending.
Your actions take you to this ending.
Correct.
Versus the other.
So I think both work, really, if you really look at it.
Yeah. I think both work. See what you were mentioning about. Yes, Scott did a lot of things. Obviously, he overcame a lot of obstacles to fighting for Ramona. But remember, the movie wants to make you believe it's about that. But it was not about that after all. When you see it in the context of the message itself of self-respect, I think that it doesn't necessarily have to have the Ramona Flowers ending. It could very well fit with the alternate ending, with the Knives Chow ending. I think that's a better way of putting it, rather than good ending, bad ending, because it's not bad.
Yeah,
Neither
yeah,
one
yeah.
of them was
Ramona or
bad.
Knives Out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Neither are
the
bad.
the
Yeah.
Ramona the Ramona ending is the canonical ending.
Correct. There you go.
Whereas the Knives Out ending would have been a nice alternative ending, and I love the fact that I got to see it because it makes sense. It's the movie goes beyond the romance to actually teach you a lesson about self-respect and self-love, and that's why I believe that if they would have actually made the Knives Out ending canonical, I think I would have been fine with it. It
Oh
would
yeah,
have, yes, it
yeah.
would have
I
been
agree.
a little jarring that, all of this, and then at the end, don't get me wrong, it still would have been that. But sitting down, maybe on a second viewing, or maybe or analyzing the movie, I would have been like, okay, well, it was because it was never really about their love, their love for her, and it was never about the age gap either, because
No,
yes,
no. It was all about Scott. Like you mentioned, it was all about Scott Pilgrim's, realizing their self. What did you mention?
self-respect, self-love.
Self-respect. Yes. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Their self-respect. And so, if you look at that, then the actual good ending is that he would realize Knives is not really for me because that was more of a rebound. Ramona's not really for me because, well, that was that was me really rebelling against what I'm currently doing. And so the self-respecting path would have been, you know what, I need to figure me out before I figure out my significant other.
I love the fact that. Sorry, I'll let you finish your thought.
No, that was it. Yeah, that I think
Oh.
personally was the if we're really looking at, if we want to look at that, it's just like, well, really he shouldn't have gone with either because he did both pretty poorly. You know what I mean? It's just like Knives are cheating on you with Ramona, and Ramona, honestly, yeah, I fought for you, but at the same time, I was never completely honest about Knives, and so both are already burnt bridges at this point. For the most part, and so as a self-respecting person, it's like, look, I did you wrong. Look, I did you wrong. I need to figure out.
Apologize. I need to figure out.
And then I can proceed with something. And if either of you are there at the time, then sure. But until that, that's I agree that's probably the message they're doing. But at the same time, it's like, well, if that's the message, then he should probably not have ended with either. And you can also argue that him being at the arcade with Knives doesn't necessarily mean they're together. They're just, really good friends at that point, right? Because they were, they
yeah, but when you see it,
True,
when you see it in the context,
yeah.
it was, you will have
Correct.
you have to make a logic jump, for that, or that could be your reality. Who knows? But I was gonna mention that I think I'm almost. Even though I appreciate what they did with this particular part of the movie, I'm almost it's almost a knock against. I almost didn't care much for the fact that there was a good opportunity there to see the whole thing with Scott Pilgrim facing his fears, facing himself basically on the character that appears as Nega Scott,
Yes.
which I love that. And they kind of made it a joke of it at the end, because he's supposed like you see it, and it's also the typical Nintendo. Well, not necessarily Nintendo, but a lot of times Nintendo with Dark Link, where you're facing the negative version of yourself, which is basically a silhouette, a black silhouette, a shadow, your own shadow or whatever. It's almost like the movie was going for that, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. We're gonna have a fight scene with, him facing himself, because obviously, yes, that's what it's been about. But no, turns out that himself is basically, well, even his negative is kind of like dorky, and they have a lot of things in common, because of course he's still Scott. He doesn't change the fact that he is Scott Pilgrim. He still has his insecurities, and that he still has his his insecurities basically. I think that's the reason why they went with the joke of, well, you see them, both of them, his Scott and the dark version of himself, just kind of like chatting and walking out and be like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you later. All right, take care, and they part ways. It's almost like, well, at the end of the day, it's still gonna be him. He's still this insecure kid.
Even as a bad guy, he still has insecurities.
Yes, exactly. It's like, no, these two are too close of the same, too close together to be enemies. It's not like Scott is suddenly changing what he is. No, at the end of the movie, he's still Scott Pilgrim, and he'll probably still have a little bit more self-respect towards himself, but it's still full of insecurities and the way of his same way of talking, and his like he runs after Ramona when he saw her leaving, and on both versions of the endings that we saw.
Yeah,
and he was still kind of like hesitant. You can still see that. So yeah, I thought that was like it was not what I wanted to see, but I can appreciate why they did it that way.
Yeah,
the nega Scott. It's hilarious.
The nega Scott, yeah.
It's fucking hilarious, yeah. Even though we gotta be careful because there's it's a movie about also second chances, and you don't necessarily get second chances in real life. There's no continue. So
there is no free life. Yep, you're absolutely right.
There's no free life like in the game, like in the movie. Yeah.
So I have 3 remaining fun facts about the film, and so I just want to kind of get these to you. Want to know if you knew about any of these, and 2, how do you feel about them now that you don't? The first one is actually kind of silly, but also kind of like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Knives at one point speculates that Ramona is probably 25, and I think she at some point calls that she has a big ass, which is pretty hilarious. Ellen Wong, who plays Knives, was actually 25 during the filming.
What?
Believe it or not. Yes.
Really? But she looks so young.
She's actually she's only 1 year younger than Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the actress.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, interesting stuff. She really does. I mean, she's aging gracefully for sure.
For sure. Although I haven't seen her recently, and I don't remember seeing her in another stuff. Maybe I need to pull her IMDb to see what else she has done. Because we already know there are other characters that have gone way big, like freaking Chris Evans. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. Hello, Captain America. You can't get bigger than that.
You can't. Yeah, exactly. Well, Miss Marvel is there too.
Captain Marvel.
Brie Larson.
Sure.
Yeah, Captain Marvel. Yeah. Okay.
I kid.
Let's not forget Kieran Culkin, the brother of what's his name? Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. She was in the a Netflix series called Glow, which is Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. This is the actress who plays Knives, Ellen Wong. So she was in that. She was also in this. She's in a lot of TV. I'm looking at her history. It's a lot of TV.
Okay.
So that's pretty much where you would find her. So if you've not seen her since, it's probably because of that. But
Anna Kendrick, of course, you see
Anna Kendrick, of course. She's a major superstar at this point. Yeah. Jason Schwartzman, believe it or not, who plays Gideon. He's also another famous comedian.
Really, I don't recall. What's his name?
Jason Schwartzman. He's the one who plays Gideon Graves.
Gideon Graves.
Yeah, he's been in.
Yeah.
He played in Rushmore. First off, let me just tell you. You know how much I love Wes Anderson films, even though you don't know Wes Anderson like I do.
Sure,
but
I believe you.
But Jason Schwartzman has been in almost all Wes Anderson films, so maybe that's why you don't know.
Maybe that's
Yeah, that could be the reason. I'm trying to look at his history here, see maybe if you Yeah,
I know his picture with the full beard does not give me a Gideon Graves vibe at all.
Let me see. I'm just kind of flipping through his history. He's also done a lot of TV recently, believe it or not. TV is where the money's at right now, believe it or not. Because he did Grand Budapest Hotel, which you obviously haven't seen. Saving Mr. Banks, you probably don't know that one. Parks
Boy, I'm just gonna be disappointing everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. I know him. Let's put it that way. I know who he is, and that's all that matters. My next point on the film that it's actually kind of interesting. To avoid an R rating, the word fuck, said by Envy to Julie, which we heard, had to be bleeped out because Scott Pilgrim calls Todd Ingram a cocky cock early in the film.
A cocky cock, yeah.
So,
that's true.
As we know, there's a certain limit to vulgar words that can be used that allows you to remain PG-13. Once you cross that threshold, you have to be rated R. So they had to bleep out her words, which I think added to the film a little bit, right? It also kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit by having her being bleeped out.
Bleeped out. I thought that was hilarious, though. I did love that.
My last fun fact. I'm sorry. So you're going to say something?
No, I was just going to ask you who was that actress? Because I'm not seeing her listed.
The actress
here.
that said the word fuck? Aubrey Plaza. She's the one who I told you that you probably don't know her, but she's actually been around in a lot of films and stuff. But
why is she not appearing on this
Aubrey Plaza
Wikipedia thing?
I don't know. You're looking at the wrong. Oh, you're looking at Wikipedia. Powers. Well, there you go. That says it all, sir.
That's my problem. Yeah, it's the first thing that opens whenever you want to look for something.
She made it big on Parks and Recreation. That was like her blowout series. Before that, she's played in a couple other roles. Nothing huge,
she was hilarious.
Though. Yeah, nothing really huge, but. Dirty Grandpa, I don't know if you ever saw that. There's not a lot of big things going on, just a lot of weird comedy roles. But Parks and Recreation is where she made it big, and then from then on in, she's just kind of been here and there with stuff. So,
gotcha.
My last piece of trivia, guys, and I think it's probably the most important part, and really a reason to really just kind of keep an eye on Edgar Wright. Originally, the film only had a title card at the beginning. It was Quentin Tarantino who suggested to Edgar Wright, late into the stage of post-production, that there should be a pre-title credit sequence. Wright considered this and agreed, liking the idea that the first scene would now be a prologue. Now, there's two things here. First off, obviously, Edgar Wright and Quentin Tarantino are friendly enough to be discussing these type of things. Also, when you start looking at films like Baby Driver, you realize, okay,
yeah.
I can kind of see a little bit of inspiration here when it comes to. So,
I love when movies do that. By the way, I really love. Yeah,
I agree, 100%. But you can definitely see, again, not that suddenly Edgar Wright's going to be the next Quentin Tarantino, but when you have Quentin Tarantino inspiring and assisting in a lot of ways, that leads to a Quentin Tarantino. Maybe not exactly, but it leads to a filmmaker who goes, I like these things, I'm going to use these things and move forward. So, Baby Driver, I think, is his last big film for Edgar Wright, and so his next film, which is in post-production, I think right now, I think I mentioned the name earlier, and I've already
you
lost
mentioned
it.
something Budapest. No,
something
Budapest. There you go.
Something Budapest.
Budapest. No, that was not it at all.
Last Night in Soho is what it's called.
There you go. I was close.
Oh yeah, you almost nailed it.
Something Budapest is the working title.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting stuff. I like to keep an eye on directors. I think I'm kind of rubbing off on you a little bit, Dreamy. Where it's like, okay, these names start to mean something, and you're like, well, let me see what they have, and you're almost always at minimum given something you are already liking, right? Because it's a director you already enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a history with them, and suddenly you're just kind of following their film work. And Edgar Wright, like I said, I would love to have seen what Ant-Man would have been under Edgar Wright's tutelage.
For sure.
It would have been something amazing to see, I think.
That would have been something magical. Yeah.
I agree. Sir, any last words on Scott Pilgrim versus The Mouthful?
No, just the fact that this is a movie that I have as a non-movie rewatcher, I have watched plenty of time, including semi-recently before you come up with the idea of, hey, we should actually make this the hot topic of the week. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm ready to watch it again. And every time I watch it, I just super duper enjoy it. I think the movie has a great soundtrack, even
absolutely.
The dialogue it's very witty, very funny. There are a lot of pop references, including Seinfeld.
Yes, you're right.
I thought, I thought Kieran Culkin was awesome on his character. He plays Scott Pilgrim's gay roommate. And he is just
which is
like
amazing. I absolutely love that guy. Yes,
he is funny because he's like the super gossiper with his phone.
Yes. He even turns around and says, "How do you do that so fast?"
Yes, even in his sleep, like literally in his sleep.
It was so good, dude. Every part of it, there isn't a wasted character, really.
No, and even though the movie is close to 2 hours, you don't notice it just because of the sheer speed of it. Again, very, very near and dear of to its audience, but understandably not an easy pill to swallow for those who are not. Yeah. If you don't like video games, well, first of all, you wouldn't be listening to the Mouthful podcast, unless you're just a friend of ours. Like to check out on us. And hi, friends who are non-gamer friends. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe a little, but yeah, man, fantastic all around movie.
Agreed.
I kind of want to watch it again.
Ditto. I might just do that. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to an awesome episode 220 GG's The Mouthful podcast. As always, please go to goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there, and please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off for this week, saying, put on a mask, shut the fuck up. Mr. Dave Santos, take us home.
You know what? That could be the ending. Just put on a mask and shut the fuck up. Should be the name of the episode. Put on a mask, shut the fuck up.
I like how you think, sir. I just might label it that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
we might have to bleep it because we don't want to get an R rating.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So we'll have to say, put on a mask and shut the cocky cock up. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. GG!